I not be?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Whiskey Six. I'm Brian.
And I'm Marianne. How's it going, everybody?
Hope you're all having a good evening. We're from a little channel called Bourbon School.
Bourbon School.
Most of you probably know that, but if you don't, go ahead and subscribe to Bourbon School. You might be watching on Bourbon School's channel because we are streaming to our channel as well. What you want to do is head over to the Whiskey Six channel. We want to get everybody into the same chat. Make sure you hit the subscribe button over on the Whiskey Six channel. We want to try to get as many subs over on that channel as we can. We all individually have a lot of subscribers, and we want to try to funnel people over there. And it's kind of a slow process.
It's a slow process, but you can do it. So go ahead, jump on over, click that subscribe button. You can do it.
And when you live stream only once every couple of weeks, it is really hard to get it out there and stuff. But if
that's
you can,
what she said.
Okay, that's one. If you could spread the word, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let other people know if they like our channels. Come on over to this channel, and they can get updates and such. We are hopefully having a pick coming up soon. It's been pretty quiet on the pick front, but I know
actually we haven't talked about it in a long time.
But there's approval stuff to get through, labels and all that.
Yep.
So when you're at the mercy of the U.S. government,
Jesus, please.
As we'll talk about later tonight, it's not always above board or efficient. So
no, it's above board. It's just not efficient.
Well, with us was about what we're talking about later.
Tonight is not above board. No,
absolutely not. So, but we're going to bring in our panelists. We're
short staffed today.
We're short. Bobby had some unexpected or last minute house guests come.
You know what? There's been so much texting
that
I probably did not see that.
Are you pulling a Ben Walker and silencing the text group?
No, not silencing.
Okay.
Just sometimes skimming or skipping over.
Well, Bobby's got some last minute house guests, so he's not going to make it tonight. Myron got called out on a job.
He's hoping to make it later.
He's hoping to make it, and Ben's going to just be a couple minutes late. But we're hoping to have at least a whiskey, like 5 and maybe 6 total tonight, but we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit.
That's right. And it's summertime, so people are busy and doing things, and we understand.
I've been busy doing things. I baked my face off today.
You baked your face off today. Miriam, what are you drinking?
What did you pour for me?
Old Forester 100.
That's what I'm drinking, guys. Old Forester 100.
Yes, and I am drinking.
He killed.
I killed our Wild Turkey Rare Breed non-chill filtered. So luckily I have a backup back there, but as you saw in our neck pour video, I don't think it's as good, but we'll see once it opens up.
That's what she said.
Okay. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in our
resident cowboy.
Friends, our resident cowboy.
He just finished up his supper.
That's right. That's right.
And the king of the conspiracies.
That's right. Oh my gosh, we're gonna have a good time. He's gonna have a good time talking about tonight's non-whiskey topic.
That's right. You know him and you love him.
It's Sean from Whiskey Wars and Mash and Metal. Sean, what is up?
It's been quite a week.
It has it not?
Yeah, but
look at that smile. He is so excited to go. He's so excited.
I mean, Marianne, shitting on the government is probably my favorite thing in the world, and there's so much content right now. So
yes.
they're free giving it to us.
Yeah, it's
they laid it on a silver platter.
And right now I'm on a shiner box, starting with a beer because I need to be coherent for the later part of the show.
Yeah. I like it. You're keeping your wits about you. You're keeping sharp, so you can present your case.
You want to get the chat up on the computer?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Yeah. Cheers, all. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Before we bring in our guests, let's see who's here tonight. We've got Chris Jenkins. Chris Jenkins, the best mod. I don't know if I have modded Chris. He's the best. The best guy to have as your mod. He drops everybody's link. He is awesome. So Chris, go ahead. Feel free to drop some links. Whiskey Wisdom waiting in the wings back there. We'll have him out in just a second. We've got, of course, Dave Vogelsang is here.
Twin.
We got a box coming from Dave Vogelsang.
That's what I hear.
Tomorrow.
Ooh, David.
RJ, the Fed have not seen you in forever. I'm here for one reason and one reason. I bet you know what that reason is. We're going to talk about some interesting stuff tonight. Jeremy Dirks, good to see you. Thanks for being here. There's Whiskey Wisdom again. David Renstrom. Wait a minute. You know what? I think RJ said he's here for one reason and one reason only, and that's Whiskey Wisdom.
Yeah, I think
Whatever,
so.
dude.
That's what he meant.
Okay. Whatever.
Mhm.
RJ.
I'm all right with that.
Hello. How's it going? Video issue already. Is Whiskey Wisdom in charge? Nope. It was all me. It was all me.
What video issue do we
I
have?
don't know. Alan Christensen. How's it going, Alan?
Hi,
Thanks
Alan.
for being here. Good to see you, sir. C.A. Scotty. Baker Drinks. Baker
Oh.
Drinks.
Yep.
Coincidentally, I'm glad they're here because next episode, which will be
in 2 weeks.
the 24th, Baker Drinks will be our very special guests.
Yay.
So good to see you guys. Troy and Laura, West Virginia Bourbon Guy. What's up? Let's see. Chris. Ryan S. Thanks for being here. Welcome. And that might be, Gandy's here. Gandy, good to see you. Mark, Northwest Bourbon. Thanks for being here. Roscoe P. Coltrane.
Cheers, Mark.
How's it going? All right. And if I missed anybody, I am sorry.
And
but
we're
it looks
glad
like
we're glad you're here.
And thank you all for being here tonight. We appreciate you guys so much. I know there's another big channel streaming. It's got like 100 and some people watching, even though it's the second time they stream this week. But I'm not going to talk anything about them because they're going to come back on. Jamie and David are going to come back on. So
good. They're good folks.
Yeah, they are good people. Good people. All right. So let's go ahead. No Ben yet. No Myron yet. And that's fine. We'll get
them
eventually.
On as soon as they get here. We will put them right in.
So let's go ahead and bring in our guest. He is now a member of the Two-Time Club. He'll be like Tom Hanks and Steve Martin on Saturday Night Live pretty soon when they were like the 5-time club.
21090 is also
21090 is also in this club, and DRC Rick Cruz is also in this club. So you are in rare air, my friend. Let's welcome from Whiskey Wisdom, Matt. What is up, Matt?
Hey, what's up, guys?
I'll clap for you.
I love the 2-time. Thank you, Marianne. Appreciate that. The 2-time club, is that better than the Mile High Club? I don't know. Which one's better? What do you think?
No,
it is not better than the Mile High Club. I don't think.
All right. I don't know. I mean, hanging out with some people, drinking some bourbon. I don't know.
I mean, we're pretty cool, but it's not that.
So the two-time club is now Matt, 21090, Rick Cruz, and Dr. Disrespect, who is the 2-time. He just is known as the 2-time.
Oh, that doesn't count. Nobody got the joke.
He originally
it didn't land.
Coined the phrase.
It didn't land.
No, I'm not landing. I'm just saying.
Isn't he also in the Epstein club?
I think
he's trying so hard to segue into that segment. So hard.
He could be in an Epstein adjacent club.
There's no club, you guys. There's no list.
That's right. There's no club. Actually, Sean, what are you talking about? There's no club.
My apologies.
Okay. So we'll get to that in a little bit. So that'll be just a little preview. Guys, as you know, we talk about whiskey and we talk about whatever else we want to talk about. And tonight, there's a pretty interesting and spicy news item where our government told us there's no list and no conspiracy and no nothing. So we're going to get into that in a little bit.
So we're going to move the whiskey stuff along so that we can get to the controversial stuff.
Let's get to whiskey. So first of all, Matt, tell us what I know, like last time you were here, you told us about your channel and all that stuff. Like, give us some updates. Like, what have you guys been up to over on Whiskey Wisdom?
Yeah, so we're still doing our live shows pretty much every week. We did an 80s live show, which was probably one of my favorite live shows we've ever done. If you guys got some time, go back to our catalog and watch it. It was so great. We did it with the Bakers on the barrel. Jen Clifton was there. It was a lot. It was so much fun. On the 25th of this month, we're going to be doing the 90s show. So we're looking forward to that. So we're going to go through a bunch of decades and stuff. Maybe we'll hit the 70s show or 70s decade next. I don't know. We also launched, I don't think this was live on the last time I was here, but we've got a single barrel picking club website now called Pour Decisions. So if you want to check out our single barrels, you can go to pourdecisions.club and check it out. We've got a new Cedar Ridge pick coming out like so soon. It's like bottled on the shipping dock, ready to go. But it's not ready for distribution quite yet. I'm hoping next week it'll be ready for sale. We're very excited about that. Myron's part of the picking club. So are the Bakers on the barrel. Bunch of people are in that club. So we're having a lot of fun with that. And then we're starting a new channel. I don't know if we should talk about it yet, but we're doing like an 80s channel. I love the 80s so much. I'm such a 80s fan. We actually started a new like 80s little channel.
Right on. What's that called? Is it out there yet?
It's you can go subscribe to it. There's nothing on it yet. It's called Blacklight Kisses. So we're still working out what it's going to be. But the wife and I, we just love 80s stuff so much. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. Who knows?
Cool.
Maybe you guys will be the only subscriber to it.
I'm gonna subscribe right now.
All right, there you go.
All right, Blacklight Kisses.
Did
All
you
right,
find
cool.
it?
Drop that.
Hold on, I'm gonna see. If
I would love to
can
drop it, but I'm not a mod. You know, the two-timer here, right up there on the ranks of Dr. Disrespect. I can't even put a link in your own chat. So you know,
I gotta tell you, I
Jeez.
put in Blacklight Kisses in YouTube, and I got a bunch of shorts about kiss posters with blacklight, like velvet posters with blacklight, like legit. Like, hold on, check this out. This is what I got. Hold on, let me see here. My thing's a little slow. Here we go. Share. This is what I got. So there's the blacklight posters. So is it all one word, blacklight, or two words?
It is. So if you go to here, hang on. Let me see if I can give you a better.
I used to own a bunch of these when I was a young man.
Did you?
I bet.
I forgot all about. I forgot all about blacklights. Okay, let's see.
That was better, but I'm still getting like kiss videos. So
yeah, if you do YouTube,
it does seem like it would be NSFW.
Here, hang on. I can share my screen real quick.
All right.
There you go. If you want to pull my screen up.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just.
It's probably not going to be searchable because there's literally nothing. Hey, we got 4 subscribers. Hell yeah! It's just at Blacklight Kisses. That's the channel. You can put it in the bar at the top. YouTube.com/@Blacklight Kisses, and it'll pull up.
I will be watching, man. We love the 80s. I'm a child of the 80s.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's unsearchable because there's no content on it. That's my guess.
Okay, cool.
Anyways,
and Major Zero just put it up in the chat. Thank you, Major Zero.
You took Sean out.
Thank you.
Oh, shit. Sorry, I removed the wrong thing.
Major Zero, an actual mod, put it in there. Thank you, Major Zero. Appreciate that, Adam.
Awesome. Thank you. I will mod you. God, Matt.
Also, Baker Drinks isn't a mod. I don't know what's going on here. He doesn't like you guys. Let it be known that he doesn't like you, Bakers.
Sean.
You are a disturber, sir.
Shit disturber, sir.
Just wait till we start talking about Epstein.
I'm not even fired up yet.
I know.
This is like Sean's freaking Super Bowl. He cannot wait to start talking about this shit.
Yeah, so earlier Maria Ann was mentioning how the text has been going crazy. A lot of that was me.
Absolutely.
I may have been spamming the chat a little bit this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
My apologies, all that were.
It's all good, buddy.
So I'm just, guys, I know this is kind of going slow here, but I'm going to mod a couple people here.
Oh, my God.
Whiskey Wisdom, I'm going to mod you.
There we go.
You are modded, sir.
There you go. Oh, fantastic.
Okay.
Right.
Here we go.
So let's get into our whiskey topics. We've kind of killed some time here. Our guys still aren't here. That's okay. We'll bring them in when the time
fine.
comes.
We can carry the conversation.
I understand.
We will be just fine.
Okay. So we're going to talk transparency today. That'll be our first topic. And this is basically based on Chris from Bourbon of the Week put out a short. And I really this short spoke to me. So I'm going to play it real quick. It's less than a minute. I'll play it real quick. Chris, Bourbon of the Week, go subscribe to his channel. Chris, thank you. We're going to use this and talk about it. So just give us a second and we'll listen. And then I want to hear what you guys think about this.
The average whiskey drinker is dying, and it's for one reason, and it's a simple fix. And it's the same thing that used to be the
volume all the way up
whiskey industry, and that's transparency. So it used to be grandfather's hidden mash bill that I found, and I'm never going to tell anybody about because it's my proprietary setup and all this other stuff going on. But now that's what's killing the industry, because I don't want to have to Google what your bottle is. Tell me what your bottle is. They have buff turkey coming out, and I got to ask Jason from the Mash and Drum to ask the guy that makes the stuff who distilled it, and then the guy that puts it in the warehouse to tell me what barrel it is and how old it is and where it's coming from and all these other things. And I don't want to do that. And the average person doesn't have access to that information. You walk into a liquor store and you see a bunch of stuff on the shelf and you see a random NDP bottle and it's just sitting there and you have no idea what it is. All it says is the brand name, but it could be something that's phenomenal. And now I'm passing on that bottle because you don't want to tell me about it, because you want to keep some hidden industry secrets going on. It just doesn't make sense to me, because I feel like you want to sell whiskey. That's the point of your product, right? So if you have something that's special, if you have like a buff turkey where I can go and tell, it says right on there, distilled by Buffalo Trace, aged at Wild Turkey, 9 years old. Why wouldn't you tell me about that? Why do I have to figure that out on my own? You guys should be putting it on the bottle. I hate it. Just tell me what your whiskey is. Tell me an age statement. Tell me how long it's in the secondary barrel for. Tell me where it's from. Tell me who distilled it. Tell me who was involved. Tell me everything. The more I know, the more likely I am to buy your bottle, and you don't want to tell me anything. It just bothers me at this point.
Okay. Nope. I'm going to close it. Hold on. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. So that really, like, it's something that I hate when I go to a store and I see a bottle that I really don't know anything about, and then it will say, like, you can tell if you go and look it up and you try to find information about it, which kind of his point is you shouldn't have to do that. But when you do that and they don't tell you anything about where it comes from, like, I just don't know what the incentive is. Like, I mean, obviously if it says distilled in Indiana, you know where it comes from, but they're still like secretive about it. And I don't understand what the incentive is behind all that, but we'll start with Matt. And maybe you guys run across this when you do your picks and stuff. I don't know if you talk to companies about, like, hey, where is this coming from? If it happens to be sourced or whatever, like, what is your opinion on this? Like, kind of I guess we'll call it lack of transparency with what you're getting in the bottle sometimes.
Man, all right, you're starting with me for the most controversial topic. Well, you know, I think Epstein might be more controversial.
I think it might be.
Maybe.
Yeah. You know, when you join like debate classes, they always have you debate both sides, and I feel like this is a topic that I could probably debate both sides very well. The one thing that he didn't mention, though, is like, why? What is he looking for? What is his concern? He just said, and I have to reach out to this to get this and that, but he didn't say why, right?
Yeah.
And if you talk to like a lot of the, oh, is my mic popping? Someone's telling me my mic's popping.
Like a little. You got a little pop
A little
going.
bit, yeah.
Can you take down?
Is it better now? Did the
Yes.
popping stop?
Yes, I think so.
All right.
Okay.
Hold your thought for 1 second, Matt. We got our red-headed stallion here.
Oh boy.
There he is.
What's happening? That was the quickest, like, from jumping into the backstage to being on screen that I've ever.
Brian saw you and put you in. Come on.
Wait, hang on.
That's what she said.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go. I'm just getting started here, so.
Dude. Cheers, buddy.
Yeah, cheers. Sorry. Good to see you all. Good to see you, Matt.
Good to
welcome,
see you,
Ben.
Ben.
I'm glad
you're here, buddy.
So, anyway, Matt, Ben, we're just talking about the transparency.
Just getting
Chris
started.
from Bourbon of the Week short and all that stuff. So he was complaining about lack of transparency, and Matt was just about to give us his thoughts on it.
So, okay, you asked me a bunch of questions. When we're doing picks, I definitely ask because I'm interested in it. But I don't ask until I've already picked. I actually like not knowing the year, the mash, the age, you know, all that. I actually like not knowing until we're done picking. I don't want any of that to influence me or know what it is, or like, oh, this is a higher year, or oh, this is a hazmat. Let's go for that and be influenced any other way. I care more about how it tastes and how affordable it is. I think bourbon whiskey prices have just gone out of control. I mean, just freaking out of control. You should really rely on the distillers, in my opinion, to be pulling the barrels. They should be tasting it, getting their notes, giving, you know, what it's doing as it's progressing in time, and pulling it when they feel it's good. What I would rather have versus all that stuff on the label is to be able to sample these bottles, especially if you're going to be dropping like 300 bills on a bottle. Like, I'd rather taste it than just have that kind of gamble and just see if I like it. Now, going back to, I could argue this both ways. I tend to be a higher corn person. There are other things I like the Spanish oak. That's actually what I'm drinking right now. This is Rebecca Creek. I know Troy loves this bottle so much. And I typically don't like higher malt bourbons. Okay. But what I can tell you, though, is like bottles that I have seen mash bills on that state, the age, the mash, all that stuff. And I'm like, I probably wouldn't like that because it's got higher malt. I've then tasted and be like, man, I really missed out on this bottle. So it's actually hurt me in some ways too. So
Gotcha.
I would rather have like tastings available for bottles versus the transparency. And the last thing I'll say about it real quick is real estate space is really precious on labels. They don't have a lot of room. They got to get this stuff approved. Gandy Game that gifted me this bottle, one of my favorite bottles. And it has this really long story on the back about bad Tom Smith. And you might miss out on some of the history and the branding from these distilleries. They're forced to put a bunch of stuff on it. So honestly, I could argue it either way. I don't understand what the goal is from that. Like why? Because he never said. He was just like, oh, I want all this. Okay, but why? Why?
I almost feel like maybe, and I don't know, maybe Sean and Ben can relate to this more. I am not like a bourbon stat nerd. And I think maybe Chris is more of that ilk. Like he wants to know all that information because he's like a bourbon nerd like that. And maybe that's what was motivating it. But I get what you're saying. Like if you're more of a casual drinker, you might not care about that stuff. Just like, is it good? And we've had a bunch of people in the chat, Major Zero and Baker Drinks. They just said, is it good? And that's really all they care about. So maybe the average drinker doesn't care, but the nerds do.
Of a bitch.
But Sean, I feel like maybe you've been kind of a bourbon guy, maybe longer than us. Like, do you want all that stat info, or are you good with that?
Well, and hang on, Sean, before you answer. Do you think there's more bourbon nerds, or do you think there's more average drinkers?
Average drinkers, for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
I really do.
Yeah. So you risk confusing somebody by putting.
That's right.
Yeah.
I really,
ahead,
the
Sean.
reason why I'm sorry, really, really fast. The reason why I was cursing at Brian is because he
Just
played
put
this
Sean
to me in the car.
backstage. We don't need him. Just go backstage.
No. I need Sean.
I'm still writing Epstein notes, honestly. So
Okay. We were coming home from doing some shopping the other day, and I was driving, and Brian played the clip for me. And the first thing I said to him was that I don't think the average drinker really.
But it was Sean's turn.
You stole my words. Go ahead, Sean. I'm done. It's fine.
Just hold off. We'll let our guests talk.
Okay.
Or our fellow panelists talk.
Yep. Go ahead, Sean.
Okay. Go ahead, Sean.
I forgot what your question even was now.
Like, do you like? I consider you to maybe be a little bit like longer term bourbon drinker than maybe the rest of us. Like, so like, does longer term equal more serious? And if you're more serious, do you care about all those stats and all that info on a bottle, or are you just like, as long as it's good, I don't care?
I don't know if we've ever really gone around and asked everybody how long they've been drinking whiskey. I don't know that I've really been drinking any longer than anybody else. I can't say for sure. I know I've been drinking whiskey for a long time, but that said, I think it's just more my nature to like the details on a bottle, not necessarily. So to kind of Matt's point, and also the chat, I don't think that really determines whether a bottle is good or not. I just want to know what I'm getting into, because I guess I am a bourbon nerd. I don't know if I really would qualify myself that. I mean, there's a lot of guys who know a lot more than I do. But I guess because I know a fair amount, I can kind of, if there is some information, then I can kind of figure out what I'm buying. And like this is kind of the case that I use all the time, because I don't need my 30th version of a 4 to 6 year MGP. I don't need another one. I have plenty. I don't need more.
Right.
So like for those kinds of reasons, I like to know what I'm getting. But I think really the point that Chris was making is that a lot of companies are doing themselves a disservice by not putting details on the bottle, especially when someone that's newer to bourbon, say like he uses the Buff Turkey example, maybe they've heard about that in, say, a Facebook group or something, but they don't know any way to find it. And it's because
identify it, yeah,
and because it's not on the label anyway. I mean, a lot of these are just NDP, so like, it doesn't say anything about it being a Buff Turkey. There's nothing on the label that gives you the impression that that's what that bottle is. It's just some name, and so if you don't know what you're looking for, it's going to be almost impossible to find it. So I think that's kind of the angle that he was coming at. But so my actual thought on it is kind of twofold. On the one hand, I'm kind of fine with it because if you're in the know, then you can find it, and if you're just a tater, you won't.
Yeah.
Which in some ways is good, because usually a tater's motivation is to collect and flip. And so I don't want them getting it. So if they don't have the information, I'm completely fine with that. My other thought, though, is this. If you're not a company that's smart enough to give people the information that they need to sell your product, then you will go out of business. And so therefore, this problem solves itself.
All right, I agree, and I think
that's how capitalism works.
That's right, absolutely. The ones that aren't doing the job definitely get weeded out for sure. I think one of Chris's points was that the information might help sell more bottles or might make somebody buy it, but to Matt's point, like Matt said also, like if you're overloading with information,
people won't read it.
It might confuse them, or they might just be like, oh, I don't want that. It sounds weird or whatever. So
it's like when you put too much information on a test for kids. No, he's not coming in.
So Myron is here, but he said none of his equipment. He just walked through the door. None of his equipment's set up. He'll be here in spirit, sipping from the sideline tonight. That's cool, Myron. I mean, dude was just out working all day.
Sorry,
but thanks for being here. Sorry, bud. Yeah. There was somebody who put a line here. Baker Drink said, don't really take a chance on random bottles often, and mash bill wouldn't change that. An old crafty whiskey can taste gross even though the stats are great. And that's because it's a crafty whiskey. That word, that is, crafty is like the bless your heart of the bourbon world. Like I've heard people say this is like a crafty whiskey, and I'm like, oh, so it sucks. Like that's I automatically interpret it that way. Though I have a shortcoming out about that, because I think that word is like, it is like bless your heart for sure. Ben, your thoughts on this one?
I guess I kind of have a couple opinions. I definitely, I don't think that a label needs to be overloaded with information. I don't need a mash bill on every bourbon, but to Sean's point about, I don't need another 6-year MGP product that nothing special has been done to it. And so what I run into is, like, you go into something like, especially like a Total Wine now, there's 8 billion new brands. Every time you go in there, there's another new label. And some of that might be decent stuff. Like, for example, like Old Emmer, I actually really like that brand. The McFarland's Reserve, I like. But when you go in there and you've got 2 bottles sitting next to each other, they're both 6-year MGPs. One of them's $30 and one of them's $80. That's where I want the information to know what I'm getting. That's where I want at least an age statement. But to Troy's point, he had said that as long as it tastes good, it doesn't really matter. But then also said, I don't really take a chance on random bottles. I would probably take a chance on more bottles, like Chris said in the video, if I had just a little bit more information on them. Yeah. And so I think that on one hand, there have been a couple of bottles that I've passed on because it has the information, aged at least 2 years. Yeah. I'm not paying $60 for that.
Yeah.
But
right, exactly.
So sometimes it can work against them, but I don't know. I kind of feel like never putting this information out there opens the doors to really just kind of sucker people in with the fancy bottle. $200 for that Harbinger crap that's like 80 proof swill because it comes in a decanter with a pistol in it. And you're probably buying a 4-year 80 proof bourbon. I know it has to have the proof on it, but and like Caribou Crossing, for example, that's a 3-year 80 proof Canadian whiskey that is for some reason allocated and costs $60. That is freaking egregious. But people get suckered in by that. And so I feel like the places that do that count on people not having as much information. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of both for nerds, but it's also for consumers that just want a little bit of information in a market that's flooded with so many different brands. The one thing I will say, though, that, and I complained about this in a video of mine a while ago. I think it was a Michter's 10-year rye, I think, is if distilleries could at least just make it easy to find the MSRP on every bottle they sell, they could at least do that. Especially at a time when, the secondary market has gone wild and people are flipping bottles, liquor stores are ripping people off left and right. There's no harm whatsoever in being able to go to the website, look up that bourbon, and it says our suggested retail price is this.
Yes.
That at least gives
Yeah.
consumers something to base, these hard to find whiskeys on. Because, sometimes I'll get a sample, like I got that 10-year Michter's from non-bike riding Dave Vogelsang, and like, I don't know how much the bottle costs, and I go to look it up, and there's 85 prices there because I don't know which ones are secondary and which ones aren't. Michter's is an egregiously overpriced brand the way it is. And so I don't know if $300 is the real price or not.
Yeah.
And so, if we can't get any of the other information, put it on your website, at least give people that so they don't get ripped off by liquor stores.
Right. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And RJ says, buy Wolcott. It's better than Stag, says every Total Wine employee. Is Wolcott one of the like Total Wine exclusive labels?
Spirits Direct. It's
Direct,
basically
that's
that's the thing. Total Wine, the Spirits Direct brands. Every time you go in there, it's this is the one we recommend. If I have to watch some Total Wine employee recommending Lazy River to some poor woman who's in there going, my nephew really likes bourbon and it's his birthday coming up.
Yeah.
And they're recommending this absolute swill. Yeah, and I see it all the time. And yeah, it's Wolcott, it's Lazy River.
The Chestnut Farms, right? Isn't that
Chestnut Farms? Yeah, at least that's good, albeit very overpriced. That's the problem with that one, was just egregiously overpriced. But most of those brands, most of those ones from Total Wine, like 90% of them are Barton. It's just Barton juice.
Yeah.
It's all Barton juice. So why does one cost $70 and one cost $30? What's the difference between those two bottles? And it's probably nothing. So that's where some information would help.
Yes, the only one I've heard good things about is the Old Emmer.
I think that's really good.
The Old Emmer cask strength is really good. I think Myron just got one. He just did a hunt video and he got an Old Emmer.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I would like to try that if we don't have Total Wine here. But Marianne, do you have any thoughts on
It's only like a $45 bottle, so I can hand deliver one if you're interested.
Oh, right on. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. That would be great. Go ahead.
A lot of my points were already made, but what I'm curious to know from the panel then is what information do you think is the most important that should be listed on the bottle? Like, what are the things that you want to see so that you don't have to go to a website to look it up?
Proof and age for me. I would like an age statement on everything. Like, I just want to know how old, because I know it's like if it says straight Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, then it's at least 4 years and all that stuff. But I would love an age statement on everything so you know exactly what you're getting.
Right. And the reason why I asked that question, and we'll go around and have everybody answer, but the reason why I ask is to Matt's point, he said there's not a lot of real estate on a bottle.
Yeah.
So how much information do you really want? I know from my experience as a teacher, truly, people aren't reading everything that's in front of them. They're typically skimming. They're looking for just the key points that stand out to them, and then they're moving on. So if you have a lot of information on a bottle, it's not going to be effective to the average consumer anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what I agree with you, Brian. I want to know proof and I want to know age statement for sure. So Matt, what are you looking for on a bottle?
Yeah, I think that's fair. There's like certain laws where specific things have to be on the label too. Mm-hmm. But I like kind of where Ben was going with that. I think it would be interesting if by law they had to have the MSRP price on the label. I think that would be really interesting because then you go pick up a bottle and you're like, oh, this is a $49.99 bottle. Why is this asshole selling it for? Why is this guy selling it for like $300?
We're not monetized. You can say whatever you want.
And I really doubt that will be the only cursing tonight, Matt.
Oh, I'm sure.
So I actually like that. I think that if I were to add something, I think that would be a good addition. The MSRP.
And I think that's distillery. I think that's an easy one to add to the bottle, but I think it needs to be listed like appropriately because I think a consumer is going to see that and think it's the price and get confused with what like a liquor store is actually selling it for.
Right.
So it needs to be labeled appropriately.
Sean, what do you absolutely want to have on a bottle, you think?
I kind of agree with what Rick said, proof, age statement, mash bill, and filtration, but I would add price to that. Mm-hmm. If MSRP price was mandatory, which, by the way, I mean, there's so many companies that are trying to stop scammers. Well, I mean, Buffalo Trace has done that, and then there's this stuff that Bourbon Cash is doing with this is supposed to also help prevent that kind of stuff.
What is that, Sean?
Scanner tag thing. And so if that's the goal,
fax report.
These bourbon then why not just put the retail price on the bottle and then people know how much they're getting ripped off by, you know?
Yep. Because I've Google searched a bottle and you get 10 different prices because, one liquor shop online selling it for 5 times MSRP. Honestly, the most reliable place that I find MSRPs is like in a control state. Like you go to like the Pennsylvania Fine Wine and Good Spirits or Virginia where they have to sell it for, MSRP, and then you can find it. Sometimes Breaking Bourbon has it.
ChatGPT knows too.
ChatGPT
like
might know.
I've gotten, Brian has asked me to look up for him a couple times, and I get real nervous because I get 10 different hits, and I'm like, I don't know which freaking one to tell you is the right price. So I just start blurting out a whole bunch of different numbers.
So Ben, what do you need on a bottle? Like, what's your bare minimum you want on a bottle?
Ben, what do you need on a bottle?
So many things. I think, honestly, it pertains to age. I think age is appropriate to have on a bottle.
Yes.
But again, I do understand that kind of can work against, some smaller distilleries that are putting some stuff out there early. But I think their customers should know that because they tend to price their stuff a little bit higher, which I also understand because they're smaller distilleries and they got to try to get their money back somehow. But so age, obviously the proof is legally mandated. I don't need the whole mash bill. I don't need tons of information, but if there's something tell me if there's something different about your whiskey, tell me what it is. Like if it's if it's a blend even of just, bourbons, even if it's not finished, just tell me the blend then. That way, again, I can make an informed decision if I'm sitting there and there's 15 bottles and they're all from Barton and they're all priced wildly different. Well, then tell me why those are priced different. Yeah. Is this one blended with 3 different bourbons to create a cool, and it's a whatever, or is this one just a straight 5-year blend? You know what I mean? Like, give me a little something, and the age statement would help a lot with that. But if there is something interesting about the blend of your bourbon, put it on there and give us a little something to work with. Like this one here. I just bought this in Wisconsin and paid $37 for it. This is the review of mine that came out today. On the front of the bottle, it's called Debonair. And on the front of the bottle, it just
1920s vibe. That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like an Art Deco style.
Like
it actually, it's a really cool bottle. And it says a blend of straight bourbon whiskeys, 92 proof. And then on the back, it just says, from what I can see here, all it says is hand-selected straight bourbons offers a bounty of aromas, this and that, right? So I go on their website, and this is actually a blend of Kentucky bourbon finished in sherry cask, Kentucky bourbon finished in cognac cask, and high rye Tennessee bourbon. I was like, dude, that's cool information. Now I want to try this bottle for $37. Hell yeah, I'm going to try that. And it's good. And it's like, you should have told me a little bit of that on the back of the bottle. Like, how many people don't buy this just because they just think it's a 92 proof bourbon. That's it. But it's actually a really cool blend, and it doesn't give you that information. Thankfully, it's on the website, so kudos to them for that.
Yeah.
But
hey, Ben, I found one you might like. It's a little known Canadian whiskey. A portion of it's aged in American brandy barrels. Yeah, you might be interested.
I have a couple of samples I can send your way.
Yeah, you may have heard of it.
Damn it, Bobby!
Pretty cool blend.
Ben, I think you made. Or go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say to Chris Jenkins' point, that's the chef's kiss right there, right? You put a QR code on the bottle. Anybody who has a cell phone will be able to scan the QR code and go right to the information that you need. I love that.
That's a fantastic idea. That's a great idea.
Perfect idea.
Easy to do.
Yep.
So
go ahead, Matt.
Ben, I think you made a lot of really good points. I agree with you. There's something unique about the bottle. It should definitely be advertised on there. I'll give you some examples. So like all the honey finishes, I'm so done with honey finishes. It's so played in my opinion. I'm tired of it. But like, then I saw a bottle the other day that was like, these are bees that are specific to like raspberry aviaries or whatever bees grow up or pollinate. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So like, is the cross pollination from these specific bees different? But it was like something I hadn't seen before. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll try that. So I agree with you. I think there should be unique stuff where, like, this corn is unique because we did this with it, and that's why this corn is a unique tasting, something or other. I totally agree with it. I think that's good. And my comment to Chris, I agree with you. I think that's a good idea. But again, I think we're going back into like nerd territory at that point. And I don't know if it's just me, but every liquor store in Georgia is like a freaking Faraday cage. I never have any reception at any liquor store in Georgia because I've tried to look up bottles. I try to look up bottles at liquor stores, and I end up just calling Vogelsang. I'm like, hey, should I get this? And he's just like, yeah, you should get it. So Vogelsang's my call a friend.
I have a similar friend, Matt. So
yeah.
I mean, all this is irrelevant to me, but I just ask a guy. I'm like, hey, what's this? I don't even bother if what is this?
Okay. So somebody, West Virginia bourbon guy said that Copper and Cask has QR codes on their bottles, and there's one right there. It took me to a website. It's got all the stats on this. It's got a video about it. It's got the label. It's got ABV, tasting notes.
Beautiful.
It's pretty cool. Perfect. Yeah. So it's easy enough to do. You just need to have an intern or somebody sitting there writing about every single label, because that's a pick. So they had to do that just for this one pick.
But now you're talking overhead. You're talking about keeping it accurate. You got to make sure that it's not wrong. You don't get sued. There's just, I don't know. But that is cool. So that's a good like middle ground, I guess, for the nerds who want it and for the average drinker who doesn't want to see it. So
right. Me too, Dave. Wait a minute. Mine is Dave's sipping on a 7-year double oaked. Mine is 8 years. So there, Dave. So
what's up, Dave? You better come out of retirement. You better come out of retirement, sucker.
Is he sipping on that Diamond Dave Double Oak Pursuit United?
He said a double oaked Copper and Cask. Mine is Mine is a double oaked from Specs, which a buddy got for me because we don't live near Specs either.
I've never even heard of Specs.
Yeah.
Dave said zing. I haven't heard that word since like 1950.
Dave, do not even give him credit.
So I have one more question on this, and this is one I genuinely don't know. So if anybody can answer this one, it would be appreciated because it bothers me. Like along the lines of transparency, why do some companies keep a secret where they source from, and other companies are very open about, hey, this is MGP, this is Barton, this is whatever? Like, what is the deal? And I know sometimes it's contractual, but like, why do they sign contracts saying you can't say where this is from?
I can answer that. I had a distillery who told me but didn't want to tell everybody. It was a 99 corn whiskey, and they were embarrassed that it was a 99 corn, and they didn't want anybody to know. So that was what they told me. They were like, we don't want people to know.
Well, then why put it in your juice?
So do you think that mostly comes from the distillery, where if they're contracting with a company and they're like, well, they're not picking the best stuff, so don't say it's ours? Is that the kind of deal?
I mean, I guess outside of any NDA or contractual obligation like you're talking about, then maybe. I think that especially a lot of small distilleries may want to keep that secret because they feel like they got to keep it super guarded what they're doing. They try to remain unique in the world.
Sure.
But I don't know. But that was what I was told, though, is it was like pulling teeth before they finally told us what it was. And they were like, don't tell anybody. We don't want anybody to know. They thought it was literally, they said it was embarrassing. But they really liked the bourbon, and they felt people would be turned off by 99 corn bottles.
Oh,
I wouldn't turn me off at all.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither. So,
Interesting. People
Are we
love
doing a
mellow
rapid
corn.
fire tonight?
Yes, I've got the rapid fire tonight.
Brienne's got
And
one, and Sean's got a would you rather.
Would you rather? My rapid fire.
Look at that smile. He's got it in the chamber already.
My rapid fire is pop culture related. Something that happened.
Okay. Can I do a rapid fire as well?
Yeah.
It'll be a short. It'll be one that shouldn't involve too many tangents, but it's kind of related to this. But it'll be good for a rapid fire.
Ben,
okay,
you can
awesome.
do anything you want, young man.
Absolutely,
anything you
but
want.
write it down, because by the time
That's
we're done,
what
this
she
might be
said.
the longest episode of Whiskey Six ever.
Okay, let's move on.
All right, so
Mine will be very
maybe
quick, easy rapid
Let's
fire.
skip this and go.
No, I want to get to this. I want to do this. So
Sean's been writing for the last 40
okay.
minutes. I think we should get to
we
it.
got it.
All right.
So
he's called the president. He's like, I need the latest on Epstein. I'm about to go live. Come on.
I do have about a dozen things to share, but anyway.
All right. So
Sean's got his opening argument.
If we're gonna do number 2, you just have to list it and move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So we're 6 months in 2025. So I thought it'd be fun to do like what are your top 3 bottles that you've gotten so far? They don't have to be like, I know all about, like, I don't think any of us are like people who go out and get like the brand new best thing, greatest thing, like everything that's on the shelf. So I always frame this as the top 3 bottles you've gotten this year. So like if you didn't get JD 14, obviously it's not going to be on your list. But like, what have you gotten this year that you think are like, okay, I'm thinking about these ones as my end of the year top whiskeys list?
Start with Ben.
Oh,
Ben.
My best ones, like, scores of hard to find that I don't normally get to get. The JD 10 and 12, didn't get the 14. Just got a Blanton's Gold at MSRP last week.
Oh, wow.
All right.
And then, courtesy of the hand delivery from you guys, I did get a Stag Junior, which we don't really ever see here. And I did score, finally, on the shelf, MSRP, an Old Fitzgerald.
Oh, you got one.
Bam, look at that.
Oh, that's an old Fitzgerald.
Nice.
What is that?
That
Is
is
that like an
that-
80 proofer?
That is an $11 bottle of whiskey right there.
Wow.
Very
I thought it'd be fun to. I thought it'd be fun to. They don't. I was in Wisconsin. They don't sell this in Minnesota, and so for the $11, I thought it'd be fun to be able to do something with it. Maybe
I've never seen
some sort of goofy video.
On the 7-year, I think that as time goes on, we will look back at this bottle and it will be forgettable. That's my personal opinion. But
have you had it yet?
Like
the Old Fitz 7. I mean,
have you had it
in the
Sean?
price point? It's like, I don't know.
Well, and the other thing I put out in our text group was, why is the Old Fitz 7-year bottled in bond?
Just buy this.
Right, exactly. But why is that $50 or $60? But then the Old Fitz 9-year bottled in bond is like $200. Like,
Because the bottle's a hell of a lot more expensive to make.
Yeah, I guess.
Just like the same bottle, yeah.
I thought the Old Fitz 7 was 65. Are they not 65 retail?
I think they're $59.99. I think
Okay.
I think the MSRP is
There's
$59.99.
Okay.
Yeah, still overpriced. You're right. We had that discussion, and you changed my mind. It is definitely overpriced for sure. What's up?
I have a question for you, but go to the next person.
How about Matt? Matt, what are your 3 best bottles you've gotten this year so far?
All right. First of all, I've got 36 people here. That's awesome. Hit the like button if you haven't. Takes like 2 seconds. Move the mouse down there.
Yep.
Click it for Brian. Click it for Whiskey 6. You tripped me up with like the very last sentence there. So I was going based on
Sorry.
like so far. I don't know if these are going to make it to the end of the year.
No,
that's correct.
What I meant was
Okay.
like ones that you maybe are starting to think would be on the list. They don't have to be on your list at the end of the year.
I don't know if they're going to make the list for the end of the year, but here's my 3 favorites so far. I got a 13th Century Hazmat. Fantastic. It's probably the only Colorado whiskey that I've ever liked in my entire life. Love that bottle. Total surprise, the Short Barrel 36 gauge cigar batch was phenomenal. That just came out. And Scotty procured this bottle for me. This is the Westward Single Malt finished in stout casks.
Ooh.
Probably my favorite bottle of all time right now. This is just so
Very
good.
nice.
So those are probably my 3 at the moment. In fact, I'm going to have some of the stout cask right now. Thank you,
All right, right on.
All right,
And
Sean.
Sean, what do you got?
I went straight tater with my picks.
No, that's all right. Those are good. I mean, those are good ones.
Mine are basic bitch, Ben. Don't worry.
I don't know that I have.
Basic bitch.
I was trying to think. I don't know if I have 3. Well, mainly because I don't remember what I got this year and what I didn't.
Sure.
That's because you don't have someone keeping a spreadsheet for you, buddy.
Hey, cheers, Caitlin.
Also, I have an alcoholic's memory. So, anyway,
Alcoholics memory, yeah.
Not a whiskey. So, you guys can
That's all right.
be mad at that if you want. But 21090, their rum pick, their port finish, amazing for $40.
Okay.
All right.
Like just killer. Again, I don't remember if that was this year or last year. So if that was last year, And this also might be in the same category, but Dan's Sticky Icky pick. This is my second one, thanks to Eric Gunderson. Thank you, Eric.
Okay.
Things that were definitely this year. This is probably going to be top of the list even at the end of the year. They're 290s Bourbon Cash, bourbon, freaking amazing. And then this was thanks to Gordo. This is I want to say Wisconsin only. Let me see here. I think it's Wisconsin. Where's the info here? Yeah, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Cabin strength. Just a cool little Wisconsin cast strength bourbon. Yeah, it's good. That's probably my second favorite of definitely this year.
Cool. Awesome. Hold on, I gotta. Oh, here's the 3 dots. All right, I'm boomer in this. All right, do you want to go?
I'll go. Okay, so for me, the first one, this is like very, like I said, basic bitch. It's Curly. We picked.
Oh, the EJ Curly.
Oh my God, it was friggin' delicious. I killed the bottle.
That was a single barrel.
Yeah, it was a pick, and I loved it.
It was delicious.
So, the next one for me is the Old Louisville Double Oaked. It's just a solid, delicious bourbon.
Yep.
And then by far, this one is going to make it to the end of the 2025 for me. It's the Penelope Creme Brulee. Oh, chef's kiss. Absolutely freaking delicious. I can't say enough about it. It is wonderful.
Yeah, it's good. Did you want to pick that one, or you want to talk shit about it?
No, I was supposed to go buy it today, and I forgot.
Oh,
so I need to go. I need to go buy it. Well, it's being held behind the counter, so it should be there.
100% worth it for sure. Like it's on my list too. It's one of my 3 so far. That
what is this bottle?
So hold on, I'll grab it.
Is it an official architect?
It's an architect.
Yeah, okay.
It's an architect.
It's the one I told you to spend $90 on.
Yeah. So it's an architect, but then they call it a complex stave that's infused with creme brulee.
Oh my God.
And it is like like warm vanilla all day long. It is delicious.
I have to take it easy. Like every time Brian says, do you want to pour? My first inclination is to say, yes, please give me the creme brulee. Okay. But I have to save the bottle. Yeah. So it is just so delicious.
I mean, it's go ahead.
Are they getting rid of the numbers and just coming up with like tasting notes for the architect now?
You know what? I don't know if it's going to be like, I don't know if this is just a limited one-time release or if they're going to start doing this with the architects. I don't know. Because I do still see the regular architect on the shelf with the different build numbers. But this one doesn't have a build number. It just is, it says Architect Series Private Build. And then it's got 3 different stave choices. It says delicate stave, complex stave, or intense stave. And then this is a complex stave. So I think they're just kind of playing around with the architect and maybe doing like Makers does with their special wood finishing. Maybe it's that kind of deal. I'm not 100% sure though.
It just is. It was a bourbon that I knew I was going to like before I even tried it, and it did not disappoint.
It was great.
It was beautiful. It's a beautiful bourbon from start to finish.
So that's on my list. The Remus 9 experimental is on my list. This is fantastic. I love this bottle.
I was looking for that in Wisconsin based on your review, but I didn't find any.
This is like a Magnus Cigar Blend Junior. It's delicious. And then I think this one's kind of a tater, but the
more mine taters.
Keeper's Release. I loved. I think that that Maker's Mark should just have a toasted Maker's Mark all the time. It's freaking delicious.
Wow. Okay.
It's great.
I like the Heart Release better than the Keepers.
Yeah.
To be very honest, but
Keepers is not as complex as the Heart Release, but it's just that it's basically just toasted finished Maker's Mark.
It's just because my palate is more complex
delicious.
than yours.
I love it. Huh. But anyway, that's ours.
And that's it. All right. Drum roll.
Okay. All right, guys. So now that the whiskey stuff is out of the way, we spent a good hour on it. So we gave it its due and proper.
Wait, Dave didn't agree with any of my choices.
I got to sit down and get ready for Sean here. Hold on. All right, I'm comfortable.
I'll go last.
All right.
Dave. No, we're going to start
I think you should go. Yeah, I think you should go first, Sean.
I don't think so. I'm going to talk way too long.
Myron said.
It was Myron that passed on the $90.
I'm assuming that's he's talking about the
Penelope.
Yes.
I passed on it at $90 too.
I told you, I told you all in the text. You should buy the damn creme brulee.
90 is probably my limit.
I would pay 90 for it. I would pay 110 for it. Like, it is that delicious.
Okay, that's a little crazy, but
I know, I'm crazy.
all right, guys.
All right, Sean.
So let's just set the stage here, guys. We are getting into the whatever portion of the evening, and I know a lot of you are whiskey nerds, but we're going to talk about some shit that went down this week that everybody in our text group was pretty salty about.
I got pretty angry about it today after I went down the rabbit hole.
If you did not, if you have not been watching the news, we learned this week, after all of the bluster and all of the pronouncements that they were going to expose the truth and release the list and find out what really happened and all this stuff, we had a report come out from the DOJ and the FBI that basically told us there's nothing to see here as far as Jeffrey Epstein goes. There is no list. He killed himself. There is really none of the conspiracy stuff or none of the allegations that you've heard about for the last 5 years.
The truth.
Right.
Yes.
None of that is real. Don't believe your lying eyes.
There's
and
a
ears,
minute
people.
missing from the surveillance tape.
So I thought Sean proposed this in our group text about talking about it, and I was like, hell yeah, why not? I mean, we're not monetized. It's not. Nobody's going to come knocking at our door.
Well,
you're closer to the bad people than I am.
Have you guys seen the picture of Pam Bondi holding the Men in Black stick and it says there is no list? It's so great.
That's awesome. I've not seen that, but that's hilarious.
I feel like this has been a story that has been universally. This is something that has brought the left and the right together, because I think most people on both sides
finally
are pretty much calling bullshit on this.
If there was anything we needed, it was this story to bring both sides together to unify the country once again.
That's right. So I guess we'll just kind of we'll start with you guys kind of laying out your thoughts, and then we'll kind of go from there.
Let's start with. We got to start with Sean.
I don't want to start. I don't want to start with me. I have a few questions I'd like to ask everyone.
Okay.
All right.
First off, I want to state outright to anyone that thinks I may have some particular leaning. Here's where I'm at. I guess whatever politically. I don't give a shit about the government. As just an outright statement, I don't like any of them. I don't like Trump. I don't like the last guy. I didn't like the guy before him. I'm not going to like any of these people. So if you think that I lean some particular way, you're wrong. I have my own particular beliefs that may happen to coincide with a particular group here and there. But as far as like a person, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about Trump. I don't give a fuck about Biden. I don't care about any of these people. Neither should you, by the way. And this week kind of made that obvious. So here's my first question to the group.
Okay.
I'm curious where everyone falls on this. Is it more important to you to remain loyal to a party or a person, or your morals?
My morals.
Wait.
Morals.
Sean, I'm so sorry. I know I'm on a live stream on a panel, and you guys are asking questions, but I was totally reading my phone. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah.
Oh my God! You will two-timer my ass. You will never be coming back here again.
I'm so sorry. Sean, ask that again.
No, again, to everyone, chat as well. I'm curious.
I heard the whole part. Just what was the last question?
Yeah. So, is it more important to remain loyal to a party and or a person, such as Trump, Biden, whoever your guy is? I don't really care. Is it more important to remain loyal to that kind of a situation, or your morals?
Okay. Good question.
Go ahead, Matt. It's a great question, Sean. It's a great way to start.
Well, I mean, I feel like our morals are what draw us towards any specific party anyways, right? So I definitely feel like your morals should be your guiding compass. I think we can go back to what you were saying about not giving a crap about either party. I think what I've come to learn, and it's really a depressing topic, because it reminds me of like, somebody coming out of college, going into the corporate world with a big puffy chest. They're like, oh, I'm going to make a difference. And then you get in there and you just get beat down. I'll give you a good example. My wife, she got into some trouble running a stop sign. She didn't do it. We had ample evidence that she didn't do it. And in Georgia, running a stop sign is like a big deal, deal. And so we had to hire a lawyer.
That's weird.
Dude,
that is weird, Ben.
It is so
Our daughter's
weird.
going to court on Monday.
Yeah, and so we hired a lawyer, and I was like, "Look, here's my evidence." I mean, we almost had like video evidence of this, of her totally not doing it. In fact, Vogelsang's in the chat; he'll back me up. I walked him through it. Oh, come on, Mike! I'm not squirreling. I'm getting to it, Mike. Jesus. Anyways, and so what the lawyer told me was, he was like, "Listen, that's not how this works." Like, he goes, "I remember being a young lawyer coming in there, and I was going to make a change and make a difference." And he goes, "I've given judges like videotape evidence and camcorder evidence and dash cam evidence," and he's like, "They don't care. They just rule in the cop's favor." And so it's like politics too. It's like you feel like you're supporting a character. I guess you could call him a character, a candidate who is going to do what's in your best interest. But like the reality is, just we're this giant boat, like the largest cruise ship that's ever existed. And no matter how hard you try to change it in one direction, it's just so slow. Nothing ever really happens. And it gets depressing. And it's like the people in our government have forgotten that they work for us. They think that we work for them. And that's not right.
That's correct.
They work for us.
Public servants.
Matt, we should hang out more.
And no matter who you support, you realize that nothing's going to fucking change. Ever. And it's depressing once you realize that, and it really demotivates you and demoralizes you to not want to vote and not be engaged and not want to participate in our I love this country, our beautiful country. But anyways, I know this is
Matt, I want to respectfully disagree with you on one point, and that is only that I agree with everything you said. It is very disconcerting. It's discouraging, but I have never felt like I don't want to still do my civic duty. I still have never felt like I still don't want to be a part of something and engaged, because I feel like and I say this all the time, and people who know me know this is true. If you want to complain, you need to be active. Like it is fair for you to have anybody can have an opinion, but like I'm a kind of person that steps up. So like I think you need to be active. I think you need to be engaged, even if it goes nowhere. I still feel respectfully that people should still try and not feel demoralized and give up in that way. Like I no matter how upsetting it is, that no matter how many times you place your vote or do whatever it is that you do and you feel like you're not getting anywhere, I don't think people should give up. I think the whole principle is to keep going. And that's the only place where I'm going to respectfully disagree with you.
Oh, I remember when I used to feel that way.
Yeah, no, and you're right. I agree with you. And again, I love this country. I think that's just how I feel behind the scenes. I'm very passionate about politics, but I'll tell you what, man, it's like a mental health drain to live in that world.
And you have to be careful of what you talk about with who you talk about it. I mean, it divides families now, and that's very, very disheartening. Like that's terrible.
But then you got people who go into, and all of this stuff is all public information. And I know this is just way squirrel at this point, WV Bourbon guy. But like people go in making $100,000 a year and come out multimillionaires. What the fuck is happening? What is going on?
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know, it should be a sacrifice to do what's best for the country. Imagine if we actually had politicians who cared about the citizens who they work for. How much better our lives would be at this point. There are so many simple things. Like, okay, Trump, the big, beautiful bill, right? Let me tell you something. If I ever became president, you know what I would do? I would do the opposite of that. If you're going to present a bill, it can't be longer than 4 pages. Done. Because there's got to be things that both sides agree upon. Great. Get those
970 pages, something like that?
Yeah. Like, great. Get the things like both sides agree upon, get them passed, and then we'll fight about the other stuff.
That was another thing I was very irritated about this week, Matt.
Yeah. So, I don't understand why. I don't know. I don't get it. And the only answer I come back to is they just don't give a shit. That's the only thing I can conclude. But you're right. You should fight. You should care. And I do care. It's just.
I saw Tony C's comment, and respectfully, I understand your opinion, but I'm just never going to stop trying.
But you live. So here's the difference, though, because I was going to say to Tony C, I agree with him. He wrote, "I live in California. Being active means nothing." And here's what I'll tell you:
if you differ with the Democratic,
if you live in California and you're anything but a progressive Democrat, then
Understood.
yeah, you would feel that way. And that's
Understood.
how it is in New York too. Now,
And
no matter where
also,
I go, I'm going to feel that way because I'm a libertarian, and libertarians never get anything anywhere. But
and
New York is going to go one way and one way only for the rest of the time I live here. New York is going to be true blue all the way because we've got 15 million people downstate who all vote the same way, and it doesn't matter how the rest of the state votes. And that's California's got a bunch of those centers that do that. So it really doesn't matter unless you are true blue.
I'm going to say one more thing, and then I'll let the other panelists go.
I'm curious where Ben's at on this.
yeah,
Okay,
I got one
really
more thing
fast.
after. Maria.
I have
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
have run for school board here in our little town 3 times. One time I was interviewed, 2 times I ran, and I lost every single time. I am actually contemplating running one more time again next year.
Contemplating it.
Yeah.
You're going to do it.
I'm going to do it probably because I just feel like I still have something left to give. Like I'm a glutton for punishment. Maybe I'm an idiot, but I'm just going to keep trying. It's embarrassing. I keep losing, but I'm going to keep trying. Anyway, over to Ben.
Sorry.
Well,
Matt's got
hang
one
on,
more
Ben.
thing.
The one last point that I want to say, and I would just throw that out there, and maybe I'm going to get canceled for saying this. I don't know. I don't want to live in an echo chamber. I don't want to surround myself with people who only agree with what I agree with. And here's why.
For sure.
Because if I have a thought, whatever it is, left, right, leaning, whatever my thought is, I think that if somebody can challenge that thought and I can't uphold it, then I should consider changing that thought. And if you don't surround yourself with people who have differing opinions, then you can never put yourself in a position to change your mind on anything. And I think that's the worst possible scenario to happen. And cancel culture needs to go away and allow these conversations to happen. Because with the cancel culture sitting there waving its finger at you, it prevents people from having open dialogue on both sides. And I don't like that. All right, that's
I completely agree.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Ben, anything on this morals over party thing?
Good luck, Ben. I hope you enjoyed your YouTube channel, buddy.
Well, this is normally when I would chime in with some smart ass quip about how much I support the government and the CIA and whoever the powers that be are in charge. But
I love Ben.
as far as the obvious answer to the question, Sean, I think that was a bit rhetorical. Obviously, you should be loyal to your morals versus being loyal to a party or a political figure. Unfortunately, that's not the world we live in. And I think the reason for that is not that I think that people's political views and whatever their party, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican.
Yeah.
People will change their religion before they will change that because it makes up so much of who they are as a human being because they tie that to their morals. Exactly. And the problem is that it's no longer that people take their morals and apply them to I'm going to vote for this party. They listen to a party and it's like a frog in boiling water. Eventually they just absorb whatever because they're loyal to the party. Because that party, I'm a lifelong Democrat, I'm a lifelong Republican. They can't shake that because if they admit that they're wrong about that, or if they admit that they need to change their mind about something, or if they want to just change, it's like changing your entire personality. Yeah. And so I think that so, we have basically, for the most part, a 50-50 divided country, maybe, 45, and then there's a 10% in the middle that swing back and forth. To suggest that 2 parties can come along and everything that's under either of those 2 parties is going to fit perfectly with this half of the country and perfectly with that half of the country is not a rational way of looking at it. It's not reasonable. But unfortunately, that does happen. And the reason it does happen is because people don't develop their morals and take them to their political party. They've chosen a political party and they get their marching orders from them. It's like, whenever there's some, big national event that comes down, aside from this Epstein thing, incidentally, immediately they're just Republicans go one way and Democrats go the other way, and it's like you're not making this decision based on. I mean, some people are, but on like evidence and on morals. You're making it because I am this party, so these are my marching orders. Unfortunately, what I've seen. And this is almost everybody I know, people I love and respect dearly. But you know, when Trump was in office the first time, the shit that Republicans looked the other way on was egregious. And
That's
just
why
you know,
that's exactly why I asked the question, Ben. Because
and then the same thing,
people will say
and then
they'll go for their morals, but they're fucking lying because I've watched them not do it.
Yeah, because I've been paying attention long enough. And then Biden gets into office. And the shit that the other people looked the other way on was egregious. And so it seems like
Cheers, Mike. Love
what
that
I
comment.
always notice is people whoever's in power, generally the president, the opposite side is the loudest.
Yeah.
And so, you know, when I'm seeing, you know, now that Trump is back in office, you know, the Democrats are being the loudest in protest, obviously. And so I look at the things that they're protesting now, and I'm not saying that I'm against you protesting those things or that I necessarily disagree with all of them. But where the hell were you for the last 4 years? Where were you during COVID? Where were you during, you know, all the other immigration stuff that happened under Biden and Obama? And then the Trump people now that are all, you know, sis boom ba, yay, rah, rah, America. You know, it's like, where were you, you know, back in Trump's first term when X, Y, and Z was going on? It's like, what? You know, everybody just sticks their head in the sand. And that's why I say people don't bring their morals to their political party. They get their morals from their political party because they just, it's just ingrained in them.
Yeah. And what happens is that becomes such a part of them that's my team and I can't go against my team. And that is one of the and honest God, like we're all sitting here on a social media platform of sorts, I guess. I mean, it's not really like 100% social media, but we're sitting here on a social media platform. But I think that it's no coincidence that this like really hardcore, like this is my team and I won't deviate, and the other side is the bad guys, and has come along with social media, because on social media you can surround yourself with the opinions of people who agree with you.
And you get empowered by that.
And people who don't agree with you can just swipe away.
Yeah.
So, or
it becomes
you can block,
empowering.
or you don't have to even listen to it. So you create your own echo chamber. And then it's like, if you surround yourself with people who only think the way you do, of course it's going to seem like the people who disagree with you are like, well, the whole world agrees with me on social media.
Feel strong.
Where's this person coming from?
You feel strong and united, and they're, let's face it, keyboard warriors are courageous. I mean, the people behind a keyboard are very, very, very ready to, you know, attack and defend their side. But if you had a conversation with them face to face, it would be very different.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, you know, I mean, you guys, the Whiskey Six folks are aware. Me and Myron have had several conversations about topics that we don't agree on. But I love Myron because he's willing to talk about it. We've never cursed each other out a single time. It's always been very cordial. And here's the thing. No one can see everything. Like, there's so much going on all the time that you're going to miss information. You're going to have blind spots in your information, and somebody else who's watching the other side will have information that you don't have. Tony C. Earlier said this topic could ruin the bourbon community. I disagree. I think the opposite is true. I think the more that we talk about things together, the more we find out that actually we're very similar, and we actually disagree on like 1% of things.
Yes, that's what I agree, Sean. I agree, and that's why it frustrates me with Democrats and Republicans. There's got to be, you know, like 99% of things that are agreed on. They should just pass those and get it done. And I agree with you, Sean.
I think we should come back to a place where we can come to the table and talk to each other instead of just relying on being behind a screen and writing the most nastiest things that you can say. For sure. Because it's just the way things are, and that it makes me sound very old. But before all of this technology, people would talk about things, and then you'd talk about it, you'd move on, and that would be the end of it. But now people aren't comfortable. There's social anxiety. People can't talk to each other about the things that they want to talk about.
Right. And that's, Myron says, we're more alike than we know. I know Myron and I don't agree on a lot of things, but who gives a shit? And the problem is, the reason we don't know, like he says, we're more alike than we know. The reason we don't know that is because the two parties have a vested interest in keeping us divided. Correct. And so And so we're constantly looking at the other side.
More accurately, Brian, our government has a vested interest in keeping us divided. If we were united against them, because Marianne, you were talking about our civic duty. Our civic duty is to hold these fuckers accountable. That's what
and nobody is.
Not one side, all of them, all the time. And no one is doing that, because if you're a Democrat, then Trump's the only bad guy, and he's the only problem. And if you're a Republican, then Biden was the bad guy. And they're all problems. And no one is stepping up.
Agreed.
And no one is stepping up and saying, wait a second, you can't, just because you're a Republican, you can't do that. That's morally wrong. You shouldn't do that. Or, if you're a Democrat, Biden was, come on. His son was like hookers and blow. Why are we excusing these things?
There was literally a bag of cocaine found at the White House. That's brutal.
Jesus Christ.
And then people are like, well, whose could that have been?
I don't care what side you're on. If you have any morals at all, then you should say, wait a second. I don't care what party I affiliate
what list, what
that's
cocaine.
Wrong. That right there is wrong. Someone needs to be accountable for that.
So let's steer it to Epstein, because I think along these lines, the MAGAs are going to have a problem here. Because if you stay like true MAGA and I'm support Trump no matter what, after pulling this shit this week, I think you've got to ask yourself Sean's question. Like, what do you believe in? Like, are you loyal to just Trump, or do you believe in something? Because all these people, Trump included, we're like, we're going to expose everything. It's all going to come out. We're going to do this, that, and the other. And today, in the press, you sent the Instagram, the two statements or whatever, and Trump's like, are we still asking about Epstein?
Yeah.
It's like, well, hell yeah, we're still asking about it, because you just this week freaking
because he talked about it for a decade and a half. Trump himself for 15 fucking years, and now you're pretending like, oh, it's no big deal.
Everybody, because Trump, because the DOJ said, oh, there's no list, there's nothing to see. We're all supposed to be like, oh, I guess there's nothing to see, because the government always tells the truth.
That statement by Trump was the most disrespectful shit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And why do you think it is? Why do you think it is?
Desperately trying to change the subject in the chat. This is amazing. He said, next question. What's your favorite food?
Cheers, Dustin.
Dustin, we're in the shit now, man. It's not.
When Trump said that on live TV, I about drove to Washington. I was so like, you mother, I swear to God.
Okay, now you got to watch what you say, Sean.
Yeah, please.
We're going beyond monetization here.
Brian and I are public servants.
My apologies.
Today I was watching a video with Mark Halperin. I don't know if you guys know Mark Halperin, but he was on Charlie Kirk, and he basically, I feel like he was kind of trying to cover for Trump, and he wouldn't come out and say what is really going on. But he said there's really only two explanations here. He said either there really is nothing, or there is someone somewhere that they are covering for.
Who do you think it could possibly be?
Okay, no. Hold on.
Let me just lay it out. So he said it's either there's nothing there, or they're covering for some entity, whether that's individuals on the list, United States intelligence, and there's some sort of intelligence, or hold on, or a foreign intelligence agency that is also pulling the strings. I'm not saying either one of those are acceptable. I'm saying that.
Share my screen.
Okay.
Share my screen.
But do you think there's more to it than that?
Listen, okay, if you guys aren't familiar with this picture, the Trump administration invited a bunch of very high-profile social media influencers to the White House, and they gave them this binder. Sure. All right, see you, Ben. They gave them this binder of what was supposed to be the phase one, by the way. So it says phase one of the Epstein files. Brian, if we go by what you're saying, down here it says the most transparent administration ever. Okay, so listen.
Does everyone know what's in that binder?
Less than what was already public knowledge is what was in that fucking binder.
Yeah.
If it's the most transparent administration ever, then what you're saying, Brian, should be revealed. It should say, look, this data was lost, this got deleted, whatever, or we have this data, but we're concerned about how it could affect foreign relations, whatever. Okay, look, they're supposed to be the most. I didn't say that; they said that.
Yep.
So I don't want to release I really don't want to release who I am politically leaning, but if you are an anti-Trump guy, you're on cloud nine this week. In my opinion, this is the biggest fumble so far of the Trump administration.
It's a huge mistake.
Him saying that has totally deflated the Republican movement. Totally deflated it.
Yep.
And Brian, you because you had the two things there. The first thing you said is impossible because multiple people in the Trump administration said that there was a list, said that there was flight logs. Also, if you want to, let me make sure I got the right thing here.
I have the Pam Bondi statements right here. So let's read this. She said there was so they allegedly released the footage that Kash Patel said proves that Epstein was not murdered. Okay. Have you guys seen this footage? Number one, it doesn't even show his cell door. That's number one.
Not the one that they showed in that original picture. It doesn't. That's for sure.
Matt, let's talk about that camera angle for just a second. Is everyone in chat aware of what that camera angle is from?
Yeah, it's from
the camera is facing this direction.
Waffle House Live.
What you're looking at is the opposite corner of that cell block. So where the camera is the farthest point away from where his cell is. You can barely see if you zoom in real close. You can barely see the steps that go up to where his cell is. You can't see his cell. You can't see his cell at all.
I want to share my screen, Brian, real quick. Okay, so
share my screen, Brian, share my screen.
46. I'm so sorry, guys. I'll shut up.
No, you're good. It's really funny. It's really funny.
Cell 46 is not Epstein. This door here, this is a common area. Okay, this I don't know if you guys can see my mouse. This area here, this is a guard's desk.
Yep.
This 4 pixels right here.
That's the steps.
That's the steps to Epstein's cell. This is the video footage that they released proving he wasn't murdered. Are you kidding me? What is this
Maria
shit?
said there's like a minute
There's
missing.
a minute missing.
Also,
it goes from 148 to 150. Where's 159? 149, 59, whatever.
Not only is there a minute missing, but there's actually a part where Epstein was released at 10 o'clock at night. Let me see if I can find it.
Well, it's like 7:49.
He was 7:49. He was released.
Apparently, he went to make a phone call.
A phone call to an unknown. They don't know how. Sorry, they don't. The FBI doesn't know how to trace the call.
Yeah,
he made an unmonitored call. What
by
a surprise!
By the way, as a person that's been to prison, every single one of your phone calls is monitored. They know exactly who you're calling all the time.
This one just wasn't monitored.
Would he have made it right here at this phone?
No, it's around the 7:49 mark on the clock. You can see them walking him back.
Yeah, and so he walks back, and you can't even see him. It's such a joke. I don't understand how they can possibly say this proves that he wasn't murdered.
It proves nothing. And there's a minute missing. It's horse shit, Matt.
Okay, and so Marianne, here's what's more incriminating about the missing minute.
Wait, hang on.
Their story on why there's a missing minute is that every night when the cameras reset, there's a missing minute, which means that they knew that ahead of time, which is the perfect scenario to kill somebody.
Well, listen, I probably shouldn't be saying this. I have one of the most extensive security camera systems around my house that anyone's ever seen for a home user. There is only one thing that disrupts my cameras, and that's when daylight to nighttime happens and the IR sensors kick over. There's about a 3-second delay. That's it. Yeah. So the fact that a whole minute's missing is very suspicious. Number two, I don't know if it was Bondi. I think it was Bondi. She stated during that not the town hall, what the hell was it called? Where Trump said, everyone's still talking about this. I can't believe it. When literally
it was like a press conference.
He was in a cabinet meeting or something.
Yeah. So she said during that time that there were thousands and thousands of videos of kids, and she didn't want to release child PORN and all that stuff. She didn't want that stuff to be
which
released.
no one's asking for.
No one has. I don't want to see the kids. What I want to know is who the fuck is fucking with these kids. Why are they not being arrested? Why are they not going after these people?
Also, let's be really clear. The FBI and the CIA deal with this stuff all the time. They go through these kinds of things all the time. Why aren't these people going through these videos right now and finding these pedophiles and prosecuting them?
You have people at J6 that are getting arrested from ATM cameras and crazy shit. And you're telling me that they figure out who these people are on these cameras that are doing this horrible
literally hundreds of videos.
Yeah, no, thousands, Sean.
I'm sorry, thousands.
I'm sorry. It actually says it actually says tens of thousands of videos, Sean.
Unbelievable.
No, not a single one of those. We couldn't find anybody.
No, sorry. And they closed the case. Why did he kill himself? What a fucking idiot. He should have just been like, well, you don't have anything. And why is his BFF girlfriend chick, whatever her name is, why the fuck is she in jail? Why is she still there?
What's she in jail for?
She didn't do anything.
Nothing happened.
She was trafficking people to where? For who?
Nowhere. For no one.
It was just to Jeffrey Epstein. Nobody else.
That's it.
So let's go around real quick. Let's establish.
No one wants to see the kids. We want to know the people who are violating the kids.
Yes. Amen to that.
So let's go around real quick and establish.
Beautiful.
Does everybody agree that this memo that came out this week that says there's no list and Epstein killed himself and there's nothing to say? Can we all agree that that's bullshit? You agree it's bullshit,
yes,
Marianne?
100%.
Matt, you agree it's bullshit?
Bullshit.
Okay, Sean, you agree it's bullshit?
I completely agree it's bullshit. And here's, I want to add to it. I think that I want to be clear, still politically neutral, not swinging either way. I'm not anti-Trump, not pro the other guy. But if you are backing Trump on this thing and if you're just going to back him to the end and you're not going to say shit about this, then you're kind of the problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, not kind of. 100% you're the problem.
Okay.
Like you got to step up when something's wrong.
This is the biggest fumble.
Is horrendous.
Bullshit,
the biggest fumble of the Trump administration this term. Biggest fumble.
Oh,
hold on.
No, Myron says bullshit.
I'm asking Ben, bullshit. You agree with bullshit?
I agree that it's bullshit.
And Myron also agrees.
That was so
we
good.
got 4 poop emojis from Myron. So everybody agrees that it's bullshit. So then the next question is, and there might be an obvious answer, but maybe somebody has a more intricate or conspiratorial answer, Sean. But like, if this is bullshit, then why are they? I mean, I feel like everybody overwhelmingly is looking at this suspiciously or as if it's bullshit. So why do this? Like, what is the motivation to put out this false? Like, they're like, what are they protecting? What are they not telling us? Like, what is the motivation?
Marianne, I think I'm going to have an answer for you that you may not suspect.
Okay.
Okay, you go first.
Okay, honestly, I think Trump is so full of himself that he thinks whatever he says, that people are going to continue to keep following.
But that's not the question.
That you said, why put
What's
this
the motivation?
out? What's the motivation?
Covering this up? Because
people are going to just listen to him and say, "Yep, it was bullshit," and we'll move on. That we don't need to hear about it anymore.
But if it's not bullshit, why are they saying it's bullshit? Him wanting people to believe it isn't enough. There's got to be a reason why they're not telling us this stuff.
He and his people are on that fucking list.
Okay. All right. Okay, so, fair enough.
So I have okay. If that were true,
if I may, Matt.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
So here's the thing. I think you're right, Marianne, but
I'm never going to be invited back.
Matt, we're having a great time. I want to be really clear.
This is what I was hoping would happen. Fantastic. Yeah, I think this is good.
But so here's the thing. I think he's on the list, but not in the way that you suspect that he is.
Okay.
So I think that even Trump thought he wasn't on the list. And here's why I say that. Now, so again, I've probably spent way too much time on this week. From what here, let's just run down the events real quick. Epstein buys this island in 1998. It
Ben's
probably
grabbing
took
the
him.
hazmat.
It probably took him a yearish, 2 years to get everything set up the way he wanted. Who knows? Trump and Epstein in their decade-long friendship around 2004. It was probably the relationship was probably breaking down around 2003. So there's like this 5-ish year window where the island was open and Trump was possibly visiting the island. I think that Trump probably thought that was so long ago that no one remembered or that it wasn't documented. Here's the problem, though. The feds have been on Epstein since 2005. In 2005, he was charged with basically molesting multiple minors. But here's where it gets interesting. And I told you there's a Diddy connection. What's interesting about that, he's charged in Florida, but then the Florida prosecutor sends it to the federal court.
He who? Diddy?
Epstein.
Oh, Epstein.
Epstein's charged in Florida in 2005 for molesting multiple minors. For whatever reason, the prosecutor in Florida sends it to the federal court. There was no reason to do that. Florida had it under control. But here's where it gets interesting. The same prosecutor, by the way, let's see here. How can I? We need. Let me find it. I got it. Here we go. Let me share this for you folks.
Okay.
The same prosecutor that was prosecuting this case also prosecuted the Diddy case, also prosecuted Maxwell's case. This is, for anyone that doesn't know, Comey, who was
FBI director.
James Comey. This is his daughter. You can see on screen. She was responsible for Maxwell, Epstein, and Diddy.
Motherfucker.
Holy shit.
Sean.
So what I'm saying is these people are making sure. Let me share the next thing here. Because all the Florida folks,
I didn't know that. What the hell?
The Florida folks.
Yeah. This goes deep.
All the
That's what she said. That's what she said.
Indeed.
That's what she said.
Yay!
Okay, so here's the thing. If you don't mind to share this, Brian.
Yep. Gotcha.
All right. So this fella here, as you can see, this is, let me get his name right here. This is Alex Acosta. This was the lead prosecutor in Florida. What was he told?
Appointed by Trump, correct?
Well, that happens later.
Okay.
I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone. That is why he sent it to the federal prosecutors, because of this statement right here. This, by the way, you can look this up. This is TMP. You can type this into Google and you can read the whole statement.
TPM.
What I'm saying is these people work together to cover their own. And what I mean by their own is Epstein was a CIA op. There's plenty of information out there. He was claiming it 24 years ago.
Hang on. So you think that he was more of a Tom Cruise, American-made type guy?
No, not Tom Cruise. This guy was collecting evidence for the CIA. Also, by the way, let me find it here. This right here. Brian, if you can share this. Again, a thing you can look up on your own time, folks. This was data gathered by NEAR, which is a company that the CIA and FBI uses to track cell phone operation. These are the locations of people that traveled to Epstein Island. There's over 200 locations. So anyone that thinks that just Trump is the problem or Clinton is the problem, we got a lot bigger problems here.
Clearly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't. Yeah.
So like, that's why. Again, this is why I'm saying this is not a Republican or Democrat problem.
No. I don't. Yeah.
And again, this is not hearsay. This is official data tracking cell phones that went to that island. They spent time on that island. This is not bullshit. These are people that went to that island, stayed there for long periods of time. Over 200 cell phones were tracked. Why were they tracked by the CIA and the FBI?
I have a question. What? Okay, stop sharing. What the hell what do we do? What do the American people do to call bullshit on this and say, this is not right? Open it back up. this is not the end. This is you're feeding us a line of bullshit. This is not right. Like, what do we do? Seriously, what can anybody do? This is terrible. This is clearly a line of bullshit that they think people are stupid enough to follow. And I think that the majority of people in this country all think the way we do. So what do we do?
Well, I said earlier in our text chat, I think it's about time for another tea party.
Yep.
Do you
Look? I understand that these things are complicated, but last Friday was July 4th.
Yes.
What does freedom mean to you?
It means, Miss Elizabeth.
Does it mean this fucking government? Is that what it is?
We promise we'll bring the boats back. We'll be right back. That's what it means.
Honestly, last weekend it really meant a lot of drinking beer in a kiddie pool for me in my garage.
Brian,
It was hot as balls. We had to get a kiddie pool, soak our feet in it. Can I interject here?
Yes,
hang on.
Ben.
Brian, can you share my
Wait.
screen real quick?
Yeah, hold on. Go ahead, Ben.
I don't think it really matters. I mean, it matters on a moral level and on a, obviously a legal level, whether or not Trump is in the files. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are in the files in some way or another. Now, there's probably plenty of people that are, had dealings with him and whatever that had nothing to do with anything nefarious or, not above board. I will say as a side note, when was the first time he was convicted? Like 95? Is that what you said, Sean?
No, 2004 was when allegations
or 2000.
2005 was when he was actually investigated and then convicted in 2006.
So how many of these people were still palling around with him after that?
Right.
That's a big problem for me. So, I get that there are a lot of people that were in the files that never did anything wrong, but what the hell were you doing there to begin with this guy?
So Ben, real quick, to answer your recent question there, all of those cell phone tracking data, all of that is from 2015 and on. So to answer your question, over 200 people after his an alleged, not alleged, I mean, his charges should have been way more than they were. He molested.
Oh yeah, he got the sweetheart deal, and people still did business with him. So all of that aside, as far as Trump being in the files or not, and he's doing this to protect himself, it doesn't matter whether or not there's evidence that he partook in these things with Jeffrey Epstein. What matters is somebody did, and somebody who's more powerful than the president of the United States doesn't want that information out. So Trump is out there on the campaign trail talking about, we're going to release the footage. And, now that he's president, he signed this thing saying, we're going to release the footage. And, I don't know. There's got to be some sort of behind the scenes thing that happened. It's like, oh, that's a really nice left ear you've got. Sure be ashamed if something happened to it. By the way, we've got your schedule for next week. We've got you scheduled for a parade in Dallas.
Yeah.
And so that's all it takes. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's part of it, which I wouldn't be shocked if he was. But even if he wasn't, somebody doesn't want that information out. And if you think that Donald Trump is the most powerful person in the United States, I have some very bad news for you.
Yeah.
The other thing is, you say, what can we do about it? What do we do about it? The thing that I find most disturbing about this, because I, just like all of you, and I think most people, I think this is just the odds of, leaving a 1% chance that, hey, there actually wasn't anything, and there isn't anything, and there is no list. Okay, well, if that's the case, then it was probably deleted by the previous administration. This has spanned 2 presidential administrations now with 2 different political leanings, and we're still getting fed the same bullshit. And the amount of evidence to the contrary that's already out there, it's just overwhelming. It's just like the Trump assassination attempt. The amount of evidence to say that it was just this fucking dork that got on a roof and took a shot at him. Are you kidding me? It's ridiculous.
Shit. Yeah, the same.
And getting back. So what I was going to say about that, the thing that I find most disturbing about this is in the timeline of abusive relationship between the government and the people of this country that we're in right now. It used to be, the government would do shit and they'd just lie about it and people would go about their days because we didn't have the internet as much of a shit show as it is. It does have value because it does provide a way to transmit information. It used to be the government would lie. Nobody would really know about it. They'd maybe get a little suspicious, but they would take Walter Cronkite's word for it. There was just the news. And then it became apparent the government is lying to you. And they tried to say, no, we're not lying to you. We're, here you do this, and that. But it was obvious. We're at the point in the abusive relationship now where I think we're at the point where it's, yes, I'm lying to you, but what the fuck are you going to do about it? Sit down, shut up, and get in line.
And eat shit.
That's the disturbing part. That's the disturbing part. Now, what is your recourse? Oh, nothing. Get in line. This is what we're doing. Because they're so brazen about it now.
And
Ben, I couldn't agree more.
Ben, you just hit the nail on the head. That's exactly why I'm so angry about this. Because this is so blatantly disrespectful to the American people. It's exactly that. It's like, what the fuck are you going to do about it? Nothing. You're not going to do nothing again. And I'm saying, let's stop doing nothing.
Yep. Yeah, Matt, what were you going to share? I don't have it here anymore. You're
Matt's
muted,
muted.
bud.
Matt, you're muted.
No. Don't be upset, Matt.
No. I'm not. It doesn't matter. I was just Pam Bondi talking about the tens of thousands of videos, but I mean, I have fun.
Oh, yes.
Also, shit, Ben was pointing out that there's more powerful people than Trump. There certainly is.
Money talks, baby.
Not all of them from our country's government, by the way.
That's exactly right.
Not going to open up that can of worms, but you all know who it is.
So
let's name them. Let's name names. So because we know Jeffrey Epstein had multiple passports with pseudonym
This is
names.
Sean, the whiskey cowboy, talking right now. Sean, the whiskey cowboy. All right.
Well, no, it's public information. It's public information. I'm not saying I don't have like some top level CIA clearance. It's public information that Jeffrey Epstein had multiple passports with pseudonym multiple names. Why does a regular civilian have multiple passports with multiple names? Again, this is CIA kind of activity. So Brian, here's the thing: we know that he had relations with Mossad and the Saudis.
Oh,
and that's where Halpern was going. He said that the other explanation is that there's intelligence sources involved here, agencies involved. He said either the U.S. intelligence agencies or foreign ones, and immediately your mind goes to Mossad, right? Like, is that like, and do they have, so the question, and I want to put this delicately because I don't want to sound like I'm casting dispersions.
thank you, Dr. Robert.
But can a foreign intelligence agency exercise that kind of influence on our decisions here? Am I being naive to think that's crazy, or is that just kind of shit that happens every day?
The CIA has used blackmail against its own government more times than we can count.
Oh, it's so disgusting.
Yeah.
By the way, can I just point out, side note, cheers, welcome, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights just commented, happy Thursday, hello, everyone. Can you imagine just coming into this stream right now?
Apologies, folks.
Well, welcome, Daniel Berry.
My
want-
chest, my red-headed stallion.
I think we should take a moment to appreciate that Myron.
Gun show. It's a gun show.
Matt makes a fair point. Why is Myron?
Well, first of all, Myron is thanking his lucky stars he's not on the panel tonight, and secondly, even Myron's not a mod.
I'm gonna mod you right now, Myron.
What is going on?
Am I not a mod? Let me get on YouTube.
Wait, now Ben has his shirt back on? What the frig happened here?
What?
No, this is the replay. We're delayed
wait
on
a minute.
YouTube.
I'm sorry. I have no idea. Okay.
Ben said every politically incorrect thing we said, he was going to take off one item of clothing. He's down to his undershirt. So let's keep going.
Did somebody comment on the fact that I ditched my sweatshirt? I missed it.
No, me.
No,
just
Marianne
me,
just-
Ben.
Oh.
I was paying attention to you, baby.
I thought you might be.
Always. No, and then what happened was, this is weird. Brian switched over to mod Myron, and so that YouTube is on a delay, and you had your sweatshirt back on. and I'm
Oh.
like three pours in here, and so like that was a little confusing to me.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it doesn't usually get hot in my basement. Like usually, even in the hottest days, it's like freezing in my basement. It's sweatshirt weather, which is awesome.
You know why it's hot down
Because
there,
we're bringing
Ben.
the heat tonight.
You
Ben.
know why, Ben?
You know what's hilarious is that so my youngest stepson, his bedroom is down here in the basement, and so sometimes I can hear him when he's down here, and it's like you guys are all in an earpiece. And, you know, he typically knows when I'm going live, but I always wonder what it's like from his perspective. Like when we get in these conversations, like I'm just in the other room ranting about the government out loud.
What is that?
The one night we were on with, you know, talking about Bigfoot and shit. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's good stuff.
like the weird conversations.
Oh, okay, Max Metalism. How about that?
So my back to my original question, like
God.
Sean, I guess you kind of covered it. Matt, like, does anybody else want to posit a theory about like what is the motivation behind like being like nothing to see here? Like what
Oh, I got
Why?
what's behind it?
All right.
I have one tinfoil hat theory.
Okay, let's hear it.
This is so Uno reverse card 4D chess bullshit. I don't even think this is true.
All right.
It's,
I like
it's
it.
I think I agree already.
It's possible.
Me too.
It's possible there could be some sort of leverage here with other countries for negotiations from the U.S. side with not having all this transparently public. That's my only guess. Now, going back to Trump being
That's why
outed,
I brought up the Saudis and Israel, by the way.
Yeah,
Matt,
now,
that's legitimately what I think it is. I don't think that
Yeah,
that's
now
crazy
going
at
back
all.
to Trump being outed, in my opinion, the amount of shit they threw at Trump when he was running, I don't know why they would have not thrown that at him, because the Democrats had all this evidence prior to the administration change. Why would they not have thrown that out at him during that time?
Yeah.
Right.
If there was something egregious that he had done.
Yeah,
That's all I'm going
I
to say.
think to Matt's point, I think if Trump is in the files at all,
Okay.
it's very minor compared to the other things that are in the files. It would be much more damning to other people.
Exactly. The act of revealing his I don't know, aggressions or his bad whatever would somehow implicate other people.
And by the way, I like Ben. I don't disbelieve that he's potentially in the files. I think he totally could be. I just think there's a lot of other people in the files that probably did worse stuff, and that's why it's never going to see the light of day.
But again, you can't claim to be the most transparent administration ever.
That's true.
And start pulling this bullshit. I'm sorry.
Who said in our group today? It was Sean, I think. He said about draining the swamp, and really, he's just part of the swamp too. Like it's all the same shit.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, I can't see. Like, to me, and you know, I've heard a lot of people today talk about like how, you know, Trump's base, the MAGAs, it's resilient, and they'll come back and all this stuff. And I just like the question that keeps repeating in my head is, how can you like? I'm not necessarily suggesting that you need to abandon him and be like, I'm never voting for this guy again or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I'm never supporting him again. But how can you not hold his feet to the fire for this? And I know there's people.
Well,
on the plus side, I think a lot of people actually are.
Yeah,
a lot of people actually are,
yeah,
which I think is good.
Yeah. Listen,
they have to.
If you're anti-Trump, like I said, you're on cloud nine this week. If you're pro-Trump, this is the biggest disappointment, the biggest fumble his administration has made.
Hey,
Agree. It's a huge unforced error. It's a huge unforced error.
Brian, this is a short here, so this won't take much time. But this was Trump earlier this year, and I want people to pay attention to how he addresses the Epstein files, particularly compared to how he answers the other questions.
Just full screen it, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do I need to play it? I guess I need to play it, right?
Yeah, you got to play it.
Okay.
President, would you declassify? You can answer yes or no to these. Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you?
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
All right.
I guess I would. I think that less so because, you know, you don't know. You don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole. But I think I would, or at least.
Do you think that would restore?
What does he mean?
Was that
by
before or after Butler, Pennsylvania?
I do.
Oh,
He
Ben,
hedges. He
great-
definitely.
Great question, Ben. I
Yeah.
see where you're going there.
He definitely hedges there. Like you see him immediately kind of hesitate, but I mean, he did qualify by saying if there's stuff that's fake in there.
But exactly, Brian. What does he said? Listen, I mean, we almost need to play. He says there's a lot of phony. There might be a lot of phony stuff in there. You know how this is. There's always a lot of phony stuff in there. What does he mean by that?
Yeah,
and
it's a
also,
setup.
how does he fucking know that?
That's right. That's right.
You can't just say shit if it's not coming from anywhere. What do you
He knows
mean
what's in there, and
by?
he's trying to prepare people for it to start saying it's bullshit, it's not existing. Like he did that in advance.
So you think that hedging and using that word phony is to lay a narrative?
Yes.
What I'm saying is that, and I'm not saying just him. What I'm saying is that he apparently had information that told him, or else why would you say that things were fishy in those files, which means that he had seen the information.
That's interesting. Well, we might know if maybe they were the most transparent administration ever. We might know. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm just
You're
saying,
right, Matt.
What I'm saying is he answered everything else very directly. It was just
Yeah.
yes, I will.
No hesitation either. It was boom.
And then with that, he gives a caveat.
Yeah,
Why?
Bingo. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I would just like.
You guys want to hear something hilarious?
Yes,
Yes.
Ben.
So Trump just settled like a $16 million lawsuit with, I think it was like CBS, because of how they edited that Kamala Harris interview.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, they took her answer and they basically edited it out and then put a different answer to the question. They edited out all the word salad. And I agree that it was terrible that they did that. They should not have done that.
Yep.
That interview that Sean just played, I believe, to the best of my knowledge, Fox News edited that and they cut out the part that he waffled and they just showed him saying yes.
Go figure, Ben.
I
Go
believe
figure.
that happened. So if you want to know how shitty it is going back and forth,
Wow.
I want to throw something out here. We talked earlier about the two-party system. This is just one of the most brilliant things I ever heard in regards to this, and how terrible it is. Lewis Black once said that our two-party system is a bowl of shit staring at itself in the mirror. And if that's not the best description of it, I don't know what is.
And again, folks, because I know, we've all been kind of hard on Trump tonight. I don't think anybody here is an anti.
He said hard on.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Come on, Ben. Gosh darn it.
That's what
At
she
least
said.
where I'm at is that we need to be hard on all of these people because they're running our government. They're doing the most important thing that you can do in this country, and no one's holding them accountable.
And they work for us. Gosh darn it.
I would like
to. It drives me nuts. You are public servants.
Yep.
You serve us.
Our tax dollars pay their mother effing salaries.
Yep.
They work for us. I stand by that no matter what political party I belong to.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, and again, for those of you that know me more intimately, you know my backstory and my history.
Sean.
Yeah.
Well,
check out Sean's OnlyFans at whiskeycowboy.com.
You know what, Matt? I wish it was as exciting as that.
Spoiler alert, folks. He still wears the cowboy hat, but nothing else.
It really does.
Cowboy hat and cowboy boots.
It does it for the ladies. But anyway, no. But on a serious note, when I was a young man, I unfortunately watched an underage girl, not like the full thing, but I walked in on it happening. I watched an underage girl get gang raped.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not going to talk about it in depth. It was not a great point in my life, obviously. I was hanging out with some very bad people at the time. And so what I'm getting to is that this is more for me than just news on the television. The people, I've known these kind of people, the people that do this. They're going to be sexual deviants the rest of their lives because that's who they are. The only way to get rid of them is shooting them in the face. So what I'm saying is, and what we've heard from our government multiple times this month is that it's fine to be a pedophile. Diddy, Epstein, all these people, no one is being held accountable and no one's standing up. No one is standing up and saying, wait a minute. Wait a second. You can't. Diddy's innocent. Epstein didn't have a list. Nobody is indicted for molesting all these girls. What are we doing? Like, as Americans, what are we going to do? Like, you can't just let these, just because they have money and they're in positions of power that we gave them.
Yeah.
You can't just say, well, let's just be apathetic and let it slide off our backs. Not a big deal. These people are going to keep raping young girls if you don't stop them.
And you'd like to think this is a breaking point, but I don't believe it is. Like, I don't think it's going to be the point where people are like, okay, enough is enough. I mean, I just don't see that happening.
Do you guys know who CoffeeZilla is?
No.
All right, he's a YouTuber, but he actually started selling shirts. He started selling shirts. Crime is legal, Sean.
I'm sorry, Marianne. I may have went too hard there, but this should be upsetting. It should be. This should be incredibly upsetting for everyone. No one should be okay with this.
No.
I agree.
Like to toast every Whiskey Wisdom subscriber that has just unsubscribed. Cheers to you guys.
Well, and the thing is, too, to your point, Sean, Myron made a comment earlier that I meant to comment on about, insider trading. Mm-hmm. Like, we already put up with so much shit that we shouldn't put up with, but if this is not the limit, what is? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, it's bad enough we put up with criminal activity. It's bad enough we put up with the lies. It's bad enough we put up with the insider trading. It's bad enough we put up with multitudes of things, corruption, this, and that. If this isn't the one thing that everybody just never lets go of, this is, if you know what the best thing we can do is never let this go.
Exactly.
Like, never stop bringing it up. That question that Trump got asked today that he gave the dumbest answer in political history to, that question should be asked to him and every single administration from here on out until there are answers.
And that was exactly my point with the first question, Ben, is that all you MAGA guys, I realize that you might think that this is better than the alternative. Fair enough. Yes. You can think that, but never let this go. Unless you're okay with young girls being raped. If you're fine with that, then let it go. But if you're not, then you need to bring this up every day for the rest of your life.
And I'll guarantee you that what Trump thought was going to happen today, that answer, and it was a stupid answer. You're 100% right, Ben. But I think he thinks, just like with other things, that it's almost like a strong arm tactic, right? He's like, I'm going to say this and put it to rest, and that's going to be it. And he thinks,
well, it's like what Marie-Anne said earlier. He was assuming that people were just gonna, that his sycophants were just gonna say, okay,
right,
and take it.
Yeah, right. He said it, and that's that. Yeah, exactly. So, and I think you're right, Sean. Like, the antidote to that is you keep asking. Let him try to bluster and be like, why are we still talking about this? Well, because it seems kind of like bullshit, sir. So why don't you tell us the fucking truth? So I don't know.
I mean,
it is very frustrating.
And again, folks, I'm sorry for going so hard tonight and everyone that had to hear all my rants throughout the week.
No.
But I mean, you can't let these people keep doing this.
Yep.
You can't let them do it.
Agree.
Because they won't stop.
Yep.
All right, 100%. Who's ready for Would You Rather?
Matt, you just beat me to it. I was going, so who's got a rapid fire?
Let's do it, brother.
Somebody break the chaos for a second.
All right. So Ben, you said you had a good rapid fire.
40 viewers to 31. Maybe we need to go to Would You Rather at this point.
Ben, you had a rapid fire. What do you got?
So for the folks hanging out still, thank you for sticking with us. But I think this was an important conversation.
It was.
I don't think it's going to make a difference because we're just a small group of folks on the internet, but it is a good conversation.
I hope so. Share it, folks. Share it with your
But I would be willing to bet.
Because it shows people who can have a conversation and
yes.
have a different opposing views and still be able to talk and be able to be rational human adults and still like each other at the end of the conversation.
Absolutely.
I'd be willing to bet we are all differently politically minded, and you're totally right.
100%.
We are.
I had to excuse myself.
I was just going to say that.
I'm sorry. I was very upset about the stuff that was happening to children and to women. That was very upsetting for me. I had to excuse myself for just a second, so I'm glad we're moving on. But still, no, for real. Like, this was a good, eye-opening conversation. I think that it shows that people who drink whiskey are intelligent, smart, capable people, and that we can have conversations about many different things and still be friends at the end of the
100%.
evening.
Agree 100%.
And Marianne,
Absolutely.
again, everyone should be just that upset.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
That was really upsetting to me. I'm sorry I had to step off for a minute, but I had to.
No, Marianne, you had the most appropriate reaction to this conversation.
Yeah, for real.
Of anyone.
Yep.
Marianne, you
That's
really
how
did.
upset every American should be right now.
Yes. And if
Yep.
anything
I'm
came from the
upset.
conversation, Sean gained a couple of subscribers to his OnlyFans. So we appreciate it, Sean.
Yeah, I
Thank
saw
you. I
something
think
about a
that's
bearskin rug.
Yeah.
I don't even know where that came from. And it was on the screen for like 20 minutes because Brian left.
I'm glad my emotional
It
breakdown.
was Myron. Myron saw Sean on a bearskin rug.
All right,
Cheers, buddy.
let's get into this rapid fire. By the way, I just want to throw this out there: the McFarland 16. I know this is not a standard whiskey profile, but I got to tell you, I really like this stuff. At 90 proof, that's kind of a banger. It's a blend of 16-year-old and 14-year-old bourbon whiskey, finished in Pedro Jimenez sherry cask for 2 years.
Nice.
And
Yeah,
that's
it's a total wine one.
total
It's one
wine.
of the yeah, and it's actually really good.
Right on. All right, Ben.
Anyway, so rapid fire. Is there anything? And so, should I say my answer on the rapid fire
Sure.
right away?
Ben, you go
Okay.
first, buddy.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you can see on a whiskey label that automatically makes you say, "Nope, I'm not buying it"? For me, a lot of times it used to be Texas. I've gotten a little better about that.
Cheers.
Typically, it's this one double gold in the San Francisco World Spirits thing, because that is the ultimate participation trophy. Every whiskey that has that on it ends up being shit, except for that Debonair, because it had that sticker on it. And so that turned me away from it. But I looked it up. They had the information on there, and I gave it a chance, and I'm glad I did.
Okay. Sean, you got one?
A non-age stated bottle that says on the back produced in Indiana.
Okay.
All right.
I don't need
really?
young MGP. Unless I get some kind of inside information
Man.
that it's
I'm an MGP
Fair enough.
whore. I don't know, Sean.
I love MGP.
So does Brian.
But I'll tell you what, I think the sweet spot is probably 5 to 9 years. Like, I don't really have a lot of patience for stuff younger than that, for sure. So
if it's like a 3 or 4
Oh,
year.
God, it's just killing me to not make the most inappropriate joke in the world right now.
Is he
Ben,
about to
Ben-
shit himself? What's happening?
I don't know. I was going to ask, is that Brad's bourbon reviews?
It is. And
It is.
This is my answer, Brian, right here.
Found the dumbest thing I've ever seen in whiskey.
It's a very deep, rich color. 90 proof, not too bad. Wonder how long it's aged. Aged in oak for 24 hours.
Oh my!
That has to be artificially flavored.
Oh, for sure.
Aged for 24 hours. I'm
Hey,
out.
Orlando, cheers, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
out.
probably a good answer to be out on that, for sure.
Yeah.
Mine,
Depending
is
on the
if-
price point, I would 100% buy that just to drink it on the channel.
Right? Yeah.
Mine is if the bottle says American single malt. I don't like it.
Okay. Now,
Fair
Brian,
enough.
Brian, hold on. Have
I
you
strongly
had
disagree,
a
but that's
Westward?
okay.
I have not had a Westward.
Okay. I hate single malts. Westwards change the game. Listen, this
Westward
is
is
somebody right
excellent.
here who I would never touch a single malt ever. Westwards are phenomenal, Brian. Phenomenal.
Okay.
So,
I'll
Brian,
try one someday.
Yeah, old pirate bourbon. Dude, I haven't seen him in forever. Holy shit.
Brian, have
I
you
have
ever
not
had
had that either.
have you ever had a Stranahan's pick? Not the Shelfer.
I have a sample of Stranahan's from Ben. It's sitting upstairs. I have not.
Is
opened
it a
yet.
pick or a Shelfer?
It's a pick. It's a cast strength pick. It's a good one.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, Brian, I meant to text you last night. Did you guys win that in a Patreon giveaway?
I believe so. Yes.
Okay, because you won the Patreon giveaway last night, and I was like, I think they've already won. And I'm trying to make it so everybody gets to win once for the first round.
Yeah. We take people off the list. That's what we're doing now.
Also, Brian.
Yeah, that's what I meant to do as well. So, by the way, can I just say that I think Kraken wins the chat tonight because he just put a comment up a couple minutes ago. It says, "Oh shit, this is a whiskey channel. I'm out."
Heck yeah. What's up, Kraken? Yeah, man.
Brian, I'm going to send you and your lovely wife some Westward whiskeys, and y'all need to go through them together and let me know what you think.
Agreed.
It will.
All right, we'll do it.
I'll tell you this. If Westward doesn't change your mind, y'all's mind on single malts, you're never going to like a single malt ever.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Long gone, but this is a great American single malt.
Okay.
The JD. Now I like peated stuff, so I like the Balcones peated, but Stranahan's, Old Line, Westward.
Westward.
Revenant. This is also peated, so if you're anti-peated, but they do non-peated stuff as well.
Okay.
This is how we do rapid fire, folks.
This is how we do it.
They're just rapid firing all their single malts.
It's my turn.
Okay, what's you?
Okay, two things. What's you? Two things I want to say, Ben. I think if you and I got
rapid
together,
fire.
Shushy, everybody else had their turn. You shut up. If Ben and I were together in real life, we would do some damage together socially. Like, seriously, you and I are like this, Ben. First of all. Second
I got you, Marianne.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall.
Okay, the second thing, I hate to give this answer because I was taken so seriously in the last segment, but seriously, you guys, I'm sorry, I don't like when things say cigar blend.
Okay, that's all right.
I fair enough. Like it.
What cigar blends have you had that you don't like?
Yeah.
Oh,
he's gonna send you some.
We've had Magnus. We've had Copper and Cash.
You don't like Magnus?
Okay.
No, you guys.
We've had 20-year cigar blend, Copper and Cash.
There's this flavor to it that there's the end note that I can't get past, and I don't know what it is.
Okay. All right, Brian, listen, after the show, remind me, I'm gonna send you some single malts. I'm gonna include the short barrel 36 gauge. It's gonna change your life.
Okay.
It is fantastic.
Right.
I'm always open to it.
I'm here for it.
It's this tobacco-y flavor that I don't know. My mom smoked until I was 18, and I think that really turned me off.
Finishes on it.
And so I think it reminds me of still that kind of time, and like it's just not for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. All right,
Sean. Would you rather? I'm gonna pass up my rapid fire. It's okay.
No. How about go? Because
I want to hear it.
Yeah.
No. Do you? Would you rather? And then we'll see where we are.
Okay. All right. You asked.
I did. I need to laugh because I just had to cry in my exercise room for 20 minutes.
Don't cry. Listen.
I did. I have puffy eyes from crying.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sean,
Jeffrey
God damn it, Sean.
Whack.
All right, rapid fire. Would you rather? Let's go.
I'm just saying, Wax coming in at a weird time. Other things happened tonight. I apologize for what's about to happen.
Oh, God.
Would you rather stand by your criminal, greedy, pedophile, fighting government?
Oh my God.
Or, so you can stand by your current government, or would you rather make January 6th look like a day at Disney World? Go.
Oh my God.
Disney World.
Disney World.
I have to take Disney World. This is disgusting. I hate this question.
What kind of?
Didn't we learn our lesson last time we let Sean do a would you rather?
Can we not pivot to bourbon shit?
Jeff.
Oh my God.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I'm doing my question. Doing my question.
Jeffrey
I veto the question and say we go to bourbon shit.
All right.
No. We're going to end it after this, but okay, here we go.
Marianne,
So-
just do your thing. Yeah. Ignore my.
Okay. So you guys, I don't know if you've seen this, if this
Rapid
thing.
fire.
Okay, I have to give a little background here. There was a woman who was invited to a party by her son's friend's mother, and she was like a +1 to this party, and she brought a beautiful antipasta salad. And what happened? I know it's very important to the story. It's very important.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
I love the antipasta.
Oh my God,
salad.
Brian, I fucking love your wife, dude. This is amazing.
Go ahead.
Oh my God.
So the host of the party.
Marianne, I have a side question.
This is like an
what kind of
episode
pasta was
Sopranos.
used? That's very important.
She made her own fresh mozzarella cheese. I would say mozzarella style. I'm from Brooklyn. She made her own mozzarella cheese.
right.
It was her
What
homemade.
is
She
happening?
put meat. It was
Go
like
ahead. Go ahead.
He asked me a freaking question.
Hey, Brian, you don't hurry her up. I'm enjoying the details.
Thank you. Okay, so
Myron saw it.
So they go to this house, and she comes in, and she sets her salad down, and the host like basically say, "What the F are you doing here? We don't know you. Who are you? Get out!" And this woman who brought this beautiful salad, who is a +1 of this woman's. Her son,
an invited guest,
of an invited guest.
Of an invited guest.
Thank you. She leaves because she's totally mortified. So my rapid fire question is: if you had a +1 guest come to your house and you didn't know, how would you treat them? What would your response to them be? And we're going to start with Matt.
Wait, say the question one more time. Just
so is this person
just a question. Just a question.
It's a plus. So it's a +1.
Put the phone down, Matt.
I'm talking to the chat. Just a question.
Okay, I got it. It's a +1 of an invited guest.
Take Matt's phone away from him.
Yeah,
they bring a lovely antipasto salad.
A lovely.
Like, how would you respond to them?
That was not the question.
Coming into your home?
Let Marie-Ann do the question, Brian.
How would I respond to a plus?
No. Listen to me, Matt. Pay attention. Look in my eyes here.
All right.
Okay.
I'm looking at you. All right, let's go. Me and you.
Someone comes to your home who is a +1 to your friend. You don't know this person, but she is technically a stranger to you. But your friend has said, "I'm bringing someone with me." How do you treat this person when this person comes to your house?
With absolute love. Why would you treat them any differently? That's how. That's
how.
I mean, listen, if they're coming as a +1 to somebody that I know, total respect to them.
Thank you. And they bring a beautiful salad, a $45
Yes. And by the way, if
salad.
anybody walks in my house and they say I have an anti-pasta, that's amazing on its own. Okay, so totally welcome. Absolutely.
So, Sean, what about you? Are you treating them well, or are you being a dick?
All right. So here's the thing that you need to know, folks. I'm from the South. No one gives a shit about antipasta salads in the South. So if that's what you're bringing to a gathering, I'm probably kicking you out. Just not because you're a +1, just because you brought antipasta salad. I think it's gross. If you brought cornbread, or if you brought like a plate of yams, you'd be in. We'd be good. Even like a pack of soda would be good. But antipasta salad, I don't even know what to do with this. It doesn't make a good side dish. You can't. It's cold, so you can't.
Eat it. You put the meat in your mouth, Ben. You put the meat in your mouth.
That's what she said.
There's no meat in antipasta salad.
Yes,
antipasto is like the salami and the cheese.
I don't know about the gabagool. Come on.
Okay, you know what? I apologize. I'm thinking of pasta salad, not antipasta.
No, this doesn't have any pasta in it.
My apologies. Okay,
it's
that's
okay.
fine.
I forgive you. I still like you, Ben. What say you?
I may have drank some.
You and I are kindred spirits.
Yeah, I think that if I'm the host and I knew the person was bringing a +1, I would 100% expect them to bring a +1, and I would be nice to that person. I have never heard of whatever kind of salad you're talking about. But I would say that
I'm
say
confused on the antipasta salad.
Yeah, I've literally never heard of it. But here's what I'm going to say, Marie-Ann.
Okay, Ben.
If I knew the person was bringing a +1, I would, of course, treat them like anybody else, and I would treat them with the respect and welcome them into my home. And I think that person should have done that regardless of what kind of salad you brought to this party, because this sounds suspiciously like it's about you.
You know what? What I heard, what the interwebs are saying is that there was some suspicious activity happening within this home that was illegal, and they didn't want people who are unaware or not in their social network to be a part of it. And so they were trying to make her feel uncomfortable. Like, why is she in the house? Yeah, Sean, what's
I
up?
have a very quick side question. So
Dave Renstrom, shout out. By the way, Dave, put in the chat where in Minnesota you're at. But yeah, in Minnesota, we make salads out of Snickers bars. And Jello.
So this would be an antipasto. This is all the greatest things that Italians love. Salami. It's got ham. It's got
artichoke hearts are pretty gross,
mozzarella, and you just put it all on a plate, and then you
guys,
some bread.
You guys,
what kind of peppers are those? That kind of matters.
These are hot cherry peppers. And then you got some pepperoncini over here, like the green hot peppers.
Yeah,
some
okay.
That looks.
chicken
By the
olives.
way,
Yeah.
that listen, that looks amazing, Brian.
That's a party right there.
And
That's a party.
You guys, all kidding aside, that is not an inexpensive salad. That costs
I'm
a
a
lot of money.
huge. I'm a huge fan of chickpeas.
You know what, Marianne?
looks
I
amazing.
completely changed my answer. They would be completely welcome at any party.
Thank you.
Sean, cheers to you for drinking some
That's
Rebecca
right.
with
The
me. Cheers,
fucking
brother.
legendary pour here to end it
And
off.
listen, if I invited Brian or Ben or Sean over and they came with a +1, 100% respect to whoever they bring over.
What the fuck,
It's-
Matt? You didn't say my name. You literally ignored me in this invitation.
No, I didn't. I said if I invited Brian or Ben or Sean and they brought a +1, which would
I'm
be
the
Brian's,
+1?
which would be
Well,
Brian's.
technically,
I'm
it
not
really
trying
only
to say
matters
anything
Brian
negative. I'm just saying
They
what
allow you.
I'm saying is trust. Oh my God! This is turning into a negative
generally
somehow.
guys communicate with other guys, so you would be the +1 in this. I mean,
Fair enough.
if
what I'm
if-
trying
if
to
Matt-
say-
if Matt contacted you directly instead of Brian, that would be more weird.
That would
than
be
the other-
weird. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Out of respect to Brian, I would never do that. Like
He's
ever.
gonna contact me,
And then you're gonna tell me,
I'm gonna
Matt-
give you
Matt-
permission to join us.
You were on a roll until
Oh,
that
God.
last bit of
we better
bullshit.
end the stream right now.
Jesus Christ! I've
All right,
lost.
it's time to
probably-
end.
According to
So,
Kraken,
what do you guys
we're
got
part of
coming
the,
up? Ben, we'll start with you. Ben, what do you got coming up on your channel? This is bullshit.
Brian's
What do you
getting
got?
stabbed later. That's all.
On Monday, I've got a video about like bourbons I'm chasing. I tried to do something different, like bourbons I'm hunting, and it's kind of like ask the chat, what are you looking for? Should I be looking for these? And then I've got Penelope Marshmallow Toast, courtesy of Brian and Deb at Buffalo Bourbon Enthusiasts, and super excited about it based on your review of it.
Yep.
And find out if I agree with you or not.
Ben, you'll agree with me because look at me. Is it?
It's really good.
On Monday or Thursday. So, yeah, there's that.
All right. Matt, what do you got coming up?
July 25th, we're doing a 90s dedication show. Check it out. It's going to be amazing. We got On the Barrel. We got Baker Drinks. We got Jen Clifton, Rusty. It's going to be a wild time. Check us out. July 25th, 9 p.m., 90s show, Whiskey Wisdom on our channel.
Interestingly, that's the day before mine and Brian's 22nd wedding anniversary.
Right.
Look at that.
Nice.
And Sean, what about you, my friend?
Okay, so ends up that I picked up a very exciting bottle. I'm going to send samples out here pretty soon. You guys should ask some questions about it. Why don't you?
What's this bottle, Sean?
Actually,
Sean, what is this bottle you picked up?
actually on my desk right now.
Does the bottle have 1 minute of missing time when it was poured from the barrel?
Well, so let me look around my desk here.
Okay, all right.
Is the bottle over 18 years aged?
Actually ends up there is no bottle. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Oh, God.
Ah.
My poor heart can't take any more tonight.
The bottle does not exist. Bing.
Nothing
Right.
to see here. Nothing to see.
Like
Men
this.
in Black.
You gotta
What are you talking about, man?
There was no bottle.
There is no list.
My apologies. I thought I had a very exciting bottle. Everybody would be interested in. I don't have a bottle, so
Yeah.
never-
All right, and what do we have coming up on Bourbon School?
Review of Sean Ruckman's 13th Colony on Monday. We've got a blind of all 4 Penelope Project
Oh my
X
God, that was so much
bottles.
fun.
That was great. We found all 4 in a shop in Michigan. They are all fantastic, but we definitely had a clear favorite. And we might do a live stream, not next week, but the week after the next Whiskey 6, which is the 31st of July. I think
Let's
that's,
do it.
That's the first opportunity we have to live stream. So
I know,
we'll
we're
probably
kinda
live stream
busy.
July 31st. The Whiskey 6 is going to be back on July 24th. Our guests are going to be Troy and Laura from Baker Drinks.
Very
So that's gonna be a good time.
Yay!
We
Love
finally
Troy
were
and
able to
Lisa.
schedule them. So, Matt,
We've got to
thank
get
you so
on the
much.
barrel whiskey on here, by the way.
What's up?
We've got to get on the barrel whiskey on here. I've had them. They
Okay.
were fellow Minnesotans, but they're expats to Wisconsin now. But yeah, those guys are great. They were in the chat tonight.
I will be in touch
Kaylin and
to have you on the
Dustin
show.
are
Kaylin and Dustin are fantastic.
All right.
they're-
Also,
do it.
I can't let it slide. We have to point out how great Matt was tonight.
Oh my
Absolutely.
God! Yes.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
100%.
Thank
Matt
Great time.
Matt came with the research. It was awesome.
He
So
had his
Matt,
show notes. That was beautiful.
thank you so much.
I feel like Matt is a kindred spirit of mine.
Mr. Mom, I would pay exorbitant amounts of money for a mellow corn store pick.
That would be amazing.
Now listen, we had over.
I would tater the fuck out on that bottle.
We had over 41 people at one point. Now here's the question: is this going to beat out the previous Whiskey Wisdom channel, which, by the way, has the highest views on your channel
It was
so far?
the highest
I don't
for a
know.
very long time.
I don't
We
know.
did well tonight. We did really
I don't
well.
know.
Of course, we don't really know because I was not behind the camera keeping the statistics.
right.
I want to cheers to Myron and Bobby. We miss them
We
this
missed
evening.
you guys.
Always, a different kind of show when they're not here. And I just want to shout out them. Hi.
All right, guys. So we'll be back with the Whiskey Six on July 24th with Baker Drinks. In the meantime, subscribe to the Whiskey Six. Subscribe to Whiskey Wars, Mash and Metal, Bourbon Note, Bourbon Drop, Bad Axe Bourbon, and Whiskey Wisdom. And
Bourbon
if
School.
you're so inclined, Bourbon School. We appreciate you all for watching tonight.
Thank you for tolerating our conversation, and thank you for witnessing what good conversation looks like amongst friends.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers,
Thanks for having me,
everyone.
guys.